video on this one day, Curio, on how the Imperium responds to threats. You might find it entertaining, at least, compared to.
No, honestly, this whole thing just gives me a headache and makes me kind of annoyed because 40K has so much bullshit that you can just pull out of it if you find the right book or the right paragraph or the right line of text or whatever. There's so much contradictory shit in there so like just taking a stance and just arguing based off of anything in 40K just kind of annoys me. So.
Well, yeah, that's why I love it. Is that it's all based on what you wish to accept to be canon or not canon, and that's how the universe was built, to allow shitlords like us to get away with stuff we get away with.
Yeah, except when people start having differing opinions and we start arguing about over stupid, non-consequential shit that doesn't matter. So.
Oh yeah, that's just fun.
Yeah, I was gonna say that the point is Cap made a mistake and that's fine or whatever. He tried to rectify it, and then going off of the information that me and Romulus had at our disposal at the moment, we made the decision to go in, and we all fucked up in some way or another. Let's just move on, okay?
Yeah.
And speaking of moving on.
Yeah. Let's get moving.
Yes.
I'm gonna go take.
Oh no.
We are not reading the usual garbage today.
Oh boy.
Yes.
We're reading new garbage.
We're reading a new brand of fecal matter that is going to be, I suspect, especially rage-inducing to some people.
One member of our party in particular.
Yes, yes, indeed. Maybe
I'm sorry, Corporal.
God damn it. Ah!
Despite how much we argue, you know I love all you guys. No homo.
That sounds pretty homo to me. Anyways, do I don't want to start, but I have to.
Oh my god, not this.
Oh god, this. Oh god. It doesn't even. Oh no, the worst part is I didn't even start with a fucking 40K title crawl. This.
Nope.
That's honestly the worst part. Automatically. Right immediately. I hate it. I hate it. Okay.
Because it's mainly Ruby. 40K salon, so.
Yes, it's Ruby primarily with 40K.
So does this start with how you say, a terrible bot rock?
Yes, it would. That's a great point, Corporal. I didn't even think of that.
What's the point?
No, not what's the point. He's saying wouldn't this start with a soft butt rock intro or whatever?
Oh.
Ruby? Get it? Yeah.
Oh, okay.
Imagine giving 40K soft butt rock Ruby intro.
Oh, that'd be horrible. Oh, no. I keep on reading the first line and I just hate it more every time. World after world, they would go, silent and ever stoically marching towards the battlefield and the certain death that it promises. But of course, they didn't fear death, for it was in their name. The Death Corps of Krieg welcomed death into their lives, waiting for their time to come. To pay for their ancestors' sins.
They're not suicidal, they're...
Against the Emperor all those years ago.
Corporate, they could be described as suicidal. It wouldn't be accurate, but they could be.
They're not a death cult. They literally just don't care if they die. They're not willingly throwing themselves into the fucking thing, like, unless it's a fucking purpose. If they were a death cult, they just would have shot themselves already.
They're a cult of sacrifice. They're not a cult of death.
A cult of sacrifice, not a cult of death.
They don't want to die, they want to sacrifice themselves.
Yes.
And if dying comes in that, great! Nice! 100%!
They're not a cult of debt, so they would get along very well with the Jews, I guess.
Jesus!
Sorry.
That joke fell flat, man.
I had to do it. I'm sorry.
Better than a shuckle lying on the side of the road. Anyways, it was a never-ending cycle for them in truth. they've been dying in his name for going their No, not for going their humanity, becoming as soullessly stoic as the Necrons. If rivalism is being unreadable and unfeeling. Oh, is that right?
You can... Or, the reason you can't read Necros' emotions is not because they have a mask on, like it's a fucking April Fool's party. The reason you can't read their mask is because they have a gas mask on!
I was gonna say Kriegsman sacrificed themselves. Oh, sorry. I was gonna say Kriegsman sacrificed themselves, and they strictly follow orders. But other than that, they're still human, as far as I know.
Yes, they scream, they bleed, they die.
And it's
Yes,
also to the
humanity's
fact
the
too that
point.
it's also to the fact too that even the Necrons do have emotions. It's just the lower grunts don't. It's the ones you start getting up to like their commanders and shit. They start having quirks and emotions.
Oh no, the
Yeah,
grunts have emotions. They're just hard-coded to... Well, they're hard-coded to ignore them.
Ignore them and obey their superiors, yeah.
Yeah. Everyone is programmed with... Well, they're programmed to go back to being grunts, but everyone has emotions. They all want to go back to being flesh and blood.
Anyways.
Like the fucking one Necron warrior that killed Lucian, and he was like cold comfort and shit. That was the explicit thing that he said. That's the reason why he turned into Lucian, even though he's a fucking Necron.
Yep.
Anyways,
Let's
their
keep going.
emotions stolen for the most part by what? Unless something major can trigger them, they were still human.
I was gonna say, how about we finish this chapter first, and then we lose our minds? Is that all right?
No, we're gonna lose our minds after literally every single fucking sentence.
Yeah, I know we are. We can hold it in, guys, though, right?
This is like Marvel writing Death Korps of Krieg. I can't take it.
These men and women would never be hailed as heroes or seen as saviors for destroying the monsters, because they didn't vibe for heroics. They did what needed to be done, no matter if it costed them their lives or the lives of others. But sometimes you don't need a hero. Sometimes the hero is a monster. Oh yeah, they're not called heroes, eh? I'm sure the people of Rax would disagree.
I mean, if there were any left.
Yeah, the people of Rack would say they're not heroes. Especially because they were being killed by them, but don't worry about it.
Yeah. The survivors. The people who weren't killed.
Good one.
Keep going. Come on.
No, it's,
Motherfucker.
The city was dead. Everything about it was dead. Buildings lie in ruins with the road faring no better, littered with the corpses of vehicles and the ever-abundant corpses of the previous inhabitants of the city, with the reasons of their deaths lying next to them. A damned mixture of Chaos Cultists, Tau, and Imperial Guard. Why are the Tau here? Snow covered up most of the corpses, giving them a blanket of cold to keep them preserved. What is this, a fucking RWBY game? Are they playing Warhammer?
I just realized what this is. This Dawn of War.
Oh my god, it's Dawn of fucking War!
Oh, is this Winter Assault?
It's
Holy shit! Winter
Assault, yeah.
Holy shit!
This is Dawn of War, guys. We're in Dawn of fucking War. Where's the fucking blood ravens?
So, when can I get Mr. fucking Stubbs?
Where's my goddamn Titan? Watchmaster of the
Disappear with the 200 Beyblades.
Don't worry, Creed will find them behind the blade of grass.
I was gonna say fucking Ruby or whatever is just chilling out or whatever at Beacon. It's like, what's that over there? And out from behind a fucking like this small little pine tree Baneblade. I was gonna say this lamppost Baneblade tanks just start spawning and fucking running over houses and shit.
No, not the Baneblade tanks. It'd be the Emperor-class Titans. The ones that are the size of, like, twice the size of the Empire State Building. Look like churches on fucking legs.
I'm just imagining Glinda just sitting on a balcony, just enjoying the sun, then looking down, like, just, what is that? It just looks down behind the fence post, or just lamppost. It's just an Imperator Titan, and it's just three just standing there going, shh.
It's just an Imperator Titan bullseye.
No! Are you spirit fixing the city? No!
Osavik, then and again, attack of the 100 men.
Anyways.
Anyway, let's continue.
A Watchmaster of the Death Korps of Krieg led his detachment of Krieg soldiers with them. No, they're gonna be Cadians, or at least what was.
And
left of
also,
them through
it's
the
not
Dead City.
corpse. It's core. You don't pronounce the P and the S. It's just Death Core.
His grenadiers
One Canadian
numbered in the 20s, regulars around the 30s, and 3 engineers. The cold barely even affected the men. If anything, they made the area colder. The Watchmaster was eyeing his surroundings with a healthy amount of distrust. Xenos and the cultists were always tricky. Nothing seemed to move, excluding them, and even their motions were stiff and
Uniformed.
uniformed. They belonged there. Everything was silent, excluding their shallow breathing, until a noise caught his attention. Then an exploding of a guardsman's head alerted him to what he expected. Oh. Sniper fire, get to cover.
I
Fuck is
completely
that
forgot.
accent?
Like, it's just gonna. Listen, we're never gonna get away from the fucking German accents. We're always gonna return to German accents.
The motherfucker protagonist name in this fucking book is Hansel, alright? Or Hans. It's fucking fine. You can do a goddamn German accent.
I mean, they're literally just space Germans.
And that's why.
Fuck it.
Who gives a shit? Fuck it.
The guardsmen acted swiftly to the command. Their comrade's body hadn't even hit the ground, and they were already searching for the sniper. Another round discloses the sniper's nest. You! He pointed for a grenadier with a long las rifle across his back over a small cape adorning his regular gear. Finds that sniper to kill him! With a nod, the grenadier serpentines.
Serpentine.
It just serpentines. I don't know how he serpentines, but he serpentines.
It's that fucking genie.
He crawls on the
Don't question
ground
me.
like a serpent, okay?
He means
And
like
he-
runs
and
back.
doing-
He means like runs back and forth. You know what it means. It's
Yeah,
I
and
know,
it-
but-
serpentining doesn't really help when you're fucking having a beat on you by a sniper. They're just gonna shoot where you're going and not where you are.
Between vehicles with his head down, taking the opportunity to watch the building the gunfire came from. With another round fired, he found his target. Third story, 15th window. Also, I'm hearing myself echo.
That's probably
Is
correct.
it my?
It might be yours, Corker. Belly on the ground, army crawling, he made it back to his watchmaster. Sir, the enemy is on the 3rd floor. I'm out of range, though. Requesting permission to advance and eliminate the target.
Excuse me.
He's out of range of a fucking laser weapon.
long glass. Yeah.
A fucking
no.
long las.
Alright, so he's out of range with a. That's not a long. Wait, you say grenadier using a long last?
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, for some reason.
Wait, no, they use a hell gun.
Yeah,
What
with the backpack and shit.
Yeah, why does it? Why would
don't
he?
know. It makes
Because
no
the
fucking sense.
Because the author thinks you can take a long lass and then take the barrel off and swap shit around like it's a modular system and turn it into a hell gun.
And why would it be out of range? It literally has infinite range.
Fucking laser!
I was gonna say, yeah, this is like a close quarters, like urban city environment or whatever. Like even according to Dark Secundus, the long lass has a base range of 200 meters or whatever, which means a max range of 600 meters. That's half a kilometer.
Look, it's a fucking marksman's weapon. On a
Yeah.
grenadier.
It's
Wait,
for all intents and purposes. For all the times you're actually gonna use it, it's gonna be effective. Outside and inside that range, it's still a fucking laser hitting you either way.
Fucking lasers! How do they work?
Look, this is like a fucking grunt. No, it's like a fucking sniper being assigned an M60.
no, a shotgun.
A fucking
You
Browning
get this
M2.
shot!
Ah, yes, the famed MG42 snipers.
Oh, guys, don't worry. It'll be explained later or whatever why he's fucking. Oh God, fuck
Why
it,
he
just
wouldn't
keep
just
going.
be shot for it.
No, I was gonna say why.
So what the fuck is a grenadier not using his standard equipment?
I was going to say why this. I was gonna say no, it's the fucking reason is why the supposed grenadier is carrying a long lasso. It will be explained later, kind of, maybe, not really, who knows, keep going.
Any explanation is gonna
Why has a... Yeah.
Why would you have a
Fucking
worse weapon?
The fucking quartermaster is going to fucking maul him to death.
The quartermaster will beat him senseless and then give him a second beating.
I was gonna say, you see, guys, he's not just a normal grenadier. He's part of a fucking OC goddamn group or whatever in the Kriegs. Apparently, they're like what are they called, Corper? The Death Commandos, some shit like that.
Yeah, but you're gonna see it later.
Then
Continue.
he's not a fucking grenadier.
I'm not gonna spoil all of it. Let's keep going.
He's part of the SS!
Kind of. Let's keep going. Keep going, god damn it! I'm going to shove my foot up all your asses. Keep going.
Should have expected this.
Request granted. Do not return until he is dead, or you will be shot. Even with the fatalistic elite views the Death Korps of Krieg is born with, they still felt the need to remind their soldiers that Vale would not be met with open arms, but instead a lonely barrel pointed between the eyes of that evicts one's brains when fired. No. The guardsman heeds the watchmaster's orders, and why is that in the present tense? And serpentines through the street, taking cover with... Corper, your mic. Through the street, taking cover with it within the spaces of the ruined vehicles and the safety his squad provides when they start firing at the sniper's position as per the watchmaster's order.
Also, this just reeks of someone who wants to recreate that scene from Saving Private Ryan. You know,
I was gonna say.
He crept through the building. He checks the corner. Silently crept through the building. He checks the corners with scrutiny. This is all in present tense, but it's also past tense.
I don't know.
Also, with the fucking how long those fucking rifles are, you can't check corners with that shit.
No.
Oh, yes you can. You're just gonna bunk the enemy in the side of the head if he's right behind it.
Yeah, that's the reason why you'd fucking shoulder that weapon and you'd use your fucking las pistol.
Mono knife and bolt pistol in hand. He doesn't even have a las pistol. The
He has a
eerie
bolt
silence.
pistol.
Wait!
Hold up.
Let me finish the sentence. The eerie
Fine.
silence would have sent chills down any lesser man's spine, but it did nothing to soldier. Comma, he might as well be the crisp air itself. Alright, let's talk.
Alright, so one thing is to have a long last. Alright, I can accept that mistake. At least he got the Watchmaster part correctly. But I cannot accept that they would let this random ass grenadier, like the equivalent of everything else but a private, walk around with a fucking bolt gun.
He's not a
Bolt
private
pistols
Lal,
are
he's
usually-
actually a member of the SS.
I said everything but a private.
Literally, bolt pistols are given to fucking commissars and people who are above colonel rank. Like, not even fucking captains and majors get access to bolt weapons. That's shit when you're a fucking full bird colonel.
About
If
war
only
trophies or
commissions
whatever.
officers are not.
No, the fucking Kriegsmen don't take
War
war
trophies
trophies.
are not a thing.
Yeah, and also Kriegsmen don't take war trophies at all.
Interesting.
You're literally given your kit and anything you scrounge from another Kriegsman when they're dead, you can use.
No,
But
the Kriegsmen do not take additional equipment beyond their kits. They're the only regiment. Them and the Mordians do not do it. Everyone else does.
What Cap is referring to is an artwork of a medic checking a dead Kriegsman. That's not him stealing the equipment. That's him making sure that he is actually written down as being deceased. That's their job.
Yeah, that's their
and they also have to.
quartermasters.
And when the Kriegsmen are confirmed dead, they take their shit and take it back to the fucking command and redistribute it.
Yep.
But as far as your standard grenadier, they get their equipment and nothing else.
Mm-hmm.
They're one of the few guardsmen, they're expected not to go into an armory and take as much as they can carry. The Cadians do that. The Valhallas do that. The Firstborn do that. Kriegsman don't.
Mm-hmm.
X-Men and Mordians are the only ones who don't.
Anyway.
Yes. Crisp of the air. Crisp air itself. Whoever the sniper was, heretic or Xeno, were smart ones indeed. Mines cleverly hidden with the rubbish were found and marked out for the others in case he failed. He had no time to disarm them himself. Broken glass cleverly was laid out to alert the sniper. But the Kriegsman was also clever. He picked up a stray piece of curtain and as slowly as humanly possible, shuffled, pushing the glass aside, causing tiny crunches to ring out ever so often, audible to no one but the ultra-sensitive hearing. Of who?
I was gonna say...
no one without ultra-sensitive hearing. Okay.
Without ultra, yeah.
Alright, so before you continue, two major points of contention for me. Mixing past and present tense, and declaring that your character is smart. Just make him do smart shit and make you think, alright, he's clever.
Show the intelligence of the character through their actions. Don't just tell me it. I don't want to hear about how smart your character is if he doesn't act smart.
Or have him act smart first and then maybe state it. I don't fucking know.
Make another character observe it.
Yeah.
The second floor, however, had life in it. Several figures with metallic armor scurried about with rifles in hand, took positions along the windows. They were Tau Fire warriors. Their fire being held. They were waiting for something, an order perhaps giving them license to shoot the Imperial Guardsmen. Again,
alright,
fucking tense.
Immediately we have an issue here. If that's a Tau Fire warrior sniper, they're gonna recognize it. Because they have the fucking plasma weapons.
Plasma weapons, yeah.
They would know. It wouldn't be a fucking projectile. It'd be a burnt fucking pile.
Also, plasma weapons tend to. I was gonna say you wouldn't be confused on where the fire's coming from either, because you would be able to see it with your fucking eyes as it comes at you. So
there would also be like the big fucking fireball where the head used to be. That's blue, and people would notice. I'd be like, shit, plasma fire, move. Wasting no time, the Krieg sniper went up behind the... Oh, he's a sniper now, not a grenadier. Also, capital S sniper, meaning that's his job title. Went up behind the closest warrior with his back towards the living shadow. In a swift motion, the Xeno found himself staring at a terrifying skull mask before his lights dimmed from a broken neck. Nobody was none the wiser, believing the sound to originate from one of their brothers stepping on ice, a mistake they would surely be regretting soon. Let me just read that again. Stepping on ice, a mistake they would surely be regretting soon. There is no comma.
I was gonna say, Kitty, you know how... I was gonna say, Kitty, you know how the Cyanide Sins has the fucking bad habit of putting commas everywhere constantly? Well, this author has the opposite problem.
He never has commas. I see commas where they shouldn't be, and nowhere else. Like, that's some fucking dedication right there. I would think this is a shit post if it wasn't being written seriously.
It's a fucking shit post.
Let's continue.
Fucking shit post.
The next unlucky Xeno fell against a sandbag with his neck broken. His friend next to him barely had time to react when the mono knife went through his neck and sever his connection to his spine. It's severed.
God damn it!
It's severe.
Wait.
Look, it was a severe connection.
It was a severe. No, it doesn't have the E at the end, so it's sever. It's not
Okay.
severe. This is so terrible. Kicking the knee out from another and breaking his neck in secession. The Krieg sniper slashed another across the throat. This time, crimson blood came out, signaling it was a human traitor who fell in line with the Tau's greater good bullshit. He promptly fell to his knees, unable to properly grasp his neck. The remaining Tau met their fates just as he laid his eyes on his killer, calmly walking from the scene, entering the stairwell. The stairwell door to the 3rd floor. Not the stairwell door.
Look, there was a...
The stairwell door. The door is a fucking well.
No, it's a well-made door. That's the well door.
It's a well door.
It's a well door.
On the last
The
floor,
door's strategic value is absolute because of that fucking mahogany craftsmanship.
On the last floor, the Kriegsman sniper made sure to take extra precaution. The Tau were known to use sniper drones to attack their enemies. However, due warp disturbances caused by the damn traitors, it was not uncommon to find your electrical equipment malfunctioning, but that didn't promise that he'd be that lucky. Due warp disturbances.
Oh, they meant to say due to and like D-U-E, not D-O.
Yes.
Okay. Alright. I was so confused by that. I'm like, what are they trying to even say? Oh, okay, gotcha.
That the equipment makes warp distortion. I don't know how.
Emperor be praised, one drone was operational. If the other 2 broken ones didn't provide enough evidence, then the excessive armor welded on it would confirm his suspicions. Priming a frag grenade, he went into position. As soon as he would throw the grenade, his presence would be compromised. The controller of the drone must have been wearing one of their damned stealth suits because he could not spot him. He tossed the explosive with the pistol in hand, ready to kill the bastard. The Xeno would have to show himself after this. With the grenade in the air...
It's a fucking stealth suit. Why would it show itself?
I'm more curious how this stealth suit is sitting at the top of a fucking tower.
Jump packs.
No
kidding.
I know. I just didn't think about that.
Yeah, you can get a jump pack upgrade from, so.
Also, he refers to the drone controller as it's a person. It's a fucking device that sits on the back of the stealth suit, like on the back of the stealth suit. What is he talking about?
With the grenade in
the
the air,
drones are air controlled.
the Krieg sniper waited for a sign of a cloaked enemy. Shivers in the air, startled breathing, and the stumbling of feet. With the explosion, the Kriegsman vaulted over his cover with his pistol in hand, ready to shoot the bastard. But he was nowhere to be found. Don't put a period before but. Unless it's in fucking dialogue. He exposed himself... Oh, and that's an improper semicolon. He exposed himself like a fool. A hard punch to the gut was his reward for his mistake. The Xeno was better than he thought.
I was gonna say, did Cyanide Sins ever actually use a semicolon? Do you ever recall a semicolon being used in a Cyanide Sins story?
No, Cyanide Sins is one of the people who has the good sense to not try to use semicolons when they don't understand them.
Excuse me? He heard him breathing?
No, he didn't. It was, that was
The
example.
Tau heard him breathing.
Oh, because the way it's written, it makes it sound like he heard breathing before the explosion.
No, that was examples of it was giving what the would give away the enemy location.
Oh, that's very poorly worded.
Yeah.
Look, hopefully I'm not an Tau fan, so I don't get nearly as angry as them will be.
I just want to know how the fuck Tau and Ruby overlap.
They
And
don't.
why
This is
Ruby
just
would
set up.
fucking not
They
join
don't. This
Tau.
is just. They don't. This is just set up. Keep going.
Listen, he saw this in better fanfics and this whole prologue thing, and he's trying to recreate it using Steve Lyon's entire biography.
No, this was stolen from what you say, Justice League of Dead, something like that.
The
About
League
a
of
crossover
Dead.
with the a crossover with the Justice League.
Anyways, a foolish mistake for the Xeno because the Krieg Guardsmen were well versed in close quarter combat, unlike the Tau. Using his weight and strength, the soldier backpedaled right into a wall, getting an audible grunt from the Xeno, surprising the alien. With the move, he vaulted the invisible alien over his shoulder using the sling. Okay.
This is the fanfic where it was stolen from.
I want to know how the fuck a goddamn Kriegsman was able to throw this over his goddamn shoulder.
Again, it's explained later. I'm not going to spoil it for you.
You don't have any explanation. That'd be like a fucking Kriegsman throwing a goddamn space marine. No.
About
Kitty.
Space Marines, Kitty. About Space Marines.
Kitty.
I'm not going to spoil
If I have
anything.
surprise later.
So
Yeah.
one thing I need to point out is that I'm assuming he's going to be the XP25 suit, which is the heavier ones, but the earlier ones were lighter,
Yeah.
so that would. I'm not saying he couldn't throw it over his shoulder, but he could lift it and throw it if he was like a burly ass man. But nah, XP25, no fucking way.
And like I said, speaking of Space Marines, there is something that does try to explain it later on, so keep going.
Let me guess, he stole the gun from some space marine and handed it to him, or took it from a Chaos Space Marine.
But you're not even on the right track, but let's keep going anyhow.
Let me go. During the throw down, the armor's cloaking technology deactivated, showing the Xeno to the Krieg sniper. Straddling the alien, he pushed the rifle down with an iron-like strength against his throat. What the fuck is an iron-like strength in the context of your arms? In pushing something.
It is foreshadowing.
He's actually a man of iron.
No, even worse. He's a fucking iron hand.
Oh no!
Uh,
He's a space marine in disguise.
He's Alfarius. He's a... Oh, God. Oh, God. The Xeno feverishly tried throwing his attacker off, but he wouldn't budge. With his lights dimming, the Tau warrior grasped a rock and smashed it against the plasteel helmet, knocking the guardsman away. The blow didn't exactly do much damage, other than distracting the Kriegsman long enough for the alien to crawl away hastily. With disciplined mental conditioning, he blocked out the pain and descended upon the alien as it tried cloaking itself. That's not how ignoring pain works.
It's a fucking plasteel helmet. A rock is not gonna knock you out, you
It
dumb.
might
Come.
give you a fucking light concussion, but it's a Tau. It's a fucking Tau. They're weak as shit.
All right. If this was a Krieg versus a cultist, this would make a lot more sense. This is a Tau, noted for not even being able to see straight.
He's not lying.
With disciplined mental condition, or that he snapped his sharpened trench spike. It's
Okay, now
It's a one-handed.
look at the Grenadier image and tell me where the fuck is the bayonet.
Okay. He snapped his sharpened trench spike, open bracket. It's a one-handed, two-handed collapsible shovel, close bracket, and lunged at the creature. Why is he breaking his fucking truncheon?
Why? I get what he's going for. He's trying to do the whole sharp end of the shovel thing with tactical trench shovels. But this is so dumb. Just use the fucking bayonet.
Use the fucking
Yeah.
bayonet or your goddamn knife. You've got a knife.
No,
It's the fucking knife!
Nah, he wants the image of the Kriegsman fucking beating an alien to death with a goddamn trench shovel.
You know
because
what
I
would
don't
have been? You know what would have been cooler? If he
Anything?
took that long lead and used it as a fucking hammer.
know. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah,
what
more sense
Kriegsmen will do if they need the range.
Except Grenadiers, because Hellguns tend to explode.
Well, yeah, this isn't a Hellgun, this is a long last. So you can
Oh, yeah,
use
just
it
like
being there.
This is like a fucking maze. like every other guardsman in history.
Yeah.
I can't get over the fact that he had to explain it in the brackets, as if he couldn't just say his fucking shovel.
Yeah, I was gonna say, I also find it interesting that the author hasn't bothered to explain any of the other shit going on, like what's a Tau, what's a Kriegsman, what's any of this, but has to explain what a fucking, like, a trench shovel is. Really?
I was gonna say, this is based on the fact this is assuming that whoever's reading this doesn't know what the Kriegsman's standard issue equipment is. At that point, don't even bother explaining this. Nothing's gonna make sense to them anyway.
Yeah.
You would have to write an entire fucking chapter just explaining their kit if you wanted to actually explain it, because that's a topic in and of itself.
The entire kit heals into 1 page.
Look, there are half-hour videos breaking down just the kit of Krieg alone.
What's the situation? I just posted the entire kit of them. It's literally 1 page.
Yeah.
Pacific, then and again.
OCX.
I thought it was Osavik, not OCX. Okay, whatever.
Yeah, it's OCX, I think. I might be wrong.
Lal thought I was saying Auschwitz for the longest time. So.
Were you saying Auschwitz?
Maybe I was saying Auschwitz, then and again. I don't know.
I thought you said Auschwitz then again, and I was like, alright, we'll get there eventually.
Yes, Auschwitz.
You sure are eager to go to Auschwitz.
Auschwitz, yeah.
Keep going.
I wanted to know if I was right. Anyways, Desperately, the alien sniper put his left forearm up to block the strike, only for the shovel to break his arm. Okay! The sniper spared no mercy upon the alien as he countered striking the Xeno with the shovel like it was a hatchet. He didn't stop, not even when the creature died, not when its blood started spraying him, not even when its eyepieces went blind. Due to DOTO, the purple blood covering them.
Is this like a drug regimen, or is this Death Course of Free?
I don't know. I don't fucking know. This is.
I mean, he's not the first or third. Well, it's not the second guardsman, so he shouldn't have a shovel.
He stopped when he ran out of breath, and his lungs started to burn with oxygen lust. Not lust for oxygen.
It's lusting for that oxygen.
No, it's not lust for oxygen. It's the oxygen's lust.
It's lust.
The gas is lust itself. The scene wasn't pretty. The poor, pathetic Xeno had its chest practically hacked to pieces by a frustrated Krieg sniper. Why is he so angry? Taking care to remove a handkerchief from his front coat pocket, he wiped the blood away and promptly tossed it on the corpse's metal face. Okay, you're gonna have to pay for that. But not as a sign of respect to the fallen foe that put up a fight. Instead, that's just where the cloth landed. Your quartermaster is gonna skull fuck you so hard. The sniper wasted no time getting back to his watchmaster. The man in question was currently leading the remainder of the force towards the building. Well done! That was all the watchmaster said as he passed the sniper by, getting a compliment from a Kriegan, not a Kriegsman, a Kriegan, as in his fucking name is Keegan. Keegan! Yeah, a compliment from Keegan, however, meant a big deal in their society.
He wouldn't get one. Because he's not an officer.
Yeah, he would not get a fucking compliment at all. Silently, the sniper caught up and followed the watchmaster closely. Mission report! He demanded monotonously.
He demanded monetization.
As if expecting that the sniper was close behind. 8 Tau Xenophils confirmed dead. 1 a human traitor. Minor resistance was encountered. Traps have not been neutralized, but they have been marked. The sniper replied, not missing a beat. Scout up ahead and report back your findings. If you do not return to that downed vulture within half an hour, you are considered dead and we will press onwards. Understood, sir. The sniper said with a crisp salute before breaking off in a jog. He didn't even look behind him to see if the Watchmaster was giving the rest of the group the orders yet.
Why would you care? You have your orders. Go!
The wind began to pick up and whisper loudly in the sniper's ears as how is it whispering through his fucking helmet? Opting to crouch jog. The fucking Skyrim character. So he can move with the lesser resistance from the wind. He pulled a hood attached to his coat over his helmet, pinned in place by the plasteel lip of the helm. Up ahead, he could faintly see a fire in a ruined building, once again choosing stealth. He unsheathed his monoknife and crept through a broken down wall.
Is he not running also? Why didn't you use the fucking knife before? It's a knife!
Because you gotta use a shovel, man! Why you wouldn't use a shovel?
It's a fucking knife!
Oh, Courier, you. I had to go scream into my pillow for a second. You son of a cunt. You better be pulling my fucking leg, otherwise this Kriegsman is a bigger Mary Sue's than Cadus and fucking Paul and Cadus combined is less of a Gary Stu abomination than this guy if Courier is speaking the truth.
I don't want to see, I don't want to know. Blood frozen decorated walls. No! Gory remains of all factions on the planet lie on the ground with their last facial features frozen until the end of winter. Their weapons were frozen and useless for the time being, but keeping an eye on them to make sure they didn't spontaneously get up didn't hurt. They're frozen. Faint noises could be heard, too faint for him to decipher, but as he drew closer, the noises turned into chanting that brought minor pain to his ears. Chaos cultists were currently performing a ceremony. The Watchmaster told him to scout ahead and report back his findings, but the sniper knew that he needed to gather more information before he could return and prepare for an ambush. With the
don't!
Since when normal Kriegsmen have fucking initiative?
With practiced ease, he crept around their little dining hall decorated in corpses strewn about, Xeno and human alike. The leader of these cultists was currently in a trance-like state, chanting... Trance-like state? Is that a period? No, there's no period. Just nothing there. Trance-like state chanting in their foul tongue, comma, a nauseating feeling starting to creep up on the sniper. He mentally groaned, knowing that whatever it was had to do with the warp and more than likely demons, comma, or more commonly referred to in the guard as, comma, quote, wait no, not a quote, apostrophe, capitalized, overpowered, uncapitalized, evil, uncapitalized bullshit, second apostrophe, period.
Why is this fucking random guardsman knowing about fucking demons?
Why does he know about demons? Why doesn't he think they're just fucking weird Xenos? That's what they all think. That's what they're told.
Fucking... I will get told that!
They're just weird aliens. Don't think about it.
Because thinking about them give them power. But don't worry about it.
Taking a small amount of time to observe his horrifying surroundings, he saw something that made him want to smile. The cultists had Promethean, not Prometheum, Promethean, as in the god Prometheus.
As in the Forerunners, the Promethean weapons. The Forerunners are here now, hi.
Promethean fuel tanks lined up around the hall, probably to try and find a generator they could use to warm the place up better, or they were just lazy with placing volatile fuel in storage. Cultists were pretty stupid at times. However, he wasn't given a chance to plan as a hand roughly grabbed his shoulder and tossed him into the center of the room. Look at what I found sneaking about like a mouse. A cultist with the ugliest fracking teeth the sniper had ever seen declared with a sing-song attitude, cracking his knuckles with a sick grin. The other cultists began laughing and reading laughing and reading their melee weapons, circling the guards who was calmly standing back up. They just pull out their swords and start reading them. Like
John,
books.
look at this inscription on my sword.
I'm so baffled at the fact that this is literally just an apocalypse game in the making.
It's just a fucking apocalypse game.
It sounds like just apocalypse models just got sentience that explain why this is a fucking clusterfuck city.
Lol, I love you.
How about we toy with him? One asked, riding a jagged, rusty saber. Hey, they's got him with his gut boys. Let's got him, gut boys. Another cackled, lunging with an axe with a wooden handle poorly crafted. The Krieg sniper didn't react at first until the blade was closing in. He ducked the axe swing. He ducked, as in, like, an air duct, the axe swing, and punched the cultist in the Adam's apple. Uppercased Adam and apple.
Wait, gut boy. Did you actually say gut boys?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, gut boys.
What?
GTTBOYS.
I was gonna say, John, these sound like orcs, not cultists.
I thought these were orcs. Like, gut with two T's is an orc thing. Like,
Yeah.
gut.
Yep.
I thought you were doing the I thought that was a mad dog. Like, let's gut them, gut boys.
Wait, hold on. Do the orcs have cultists?
No,
No? Okay, never mind.
they're shamans.
Chaos orcs are
Shamans and Mad Doctor.
extraordinarily rare.
Okay.
We're talking Rock Trader, kind of rare.
Like, questionably canon kind of rare.
Okay. Oh, this piece is fucking delicious, kid.
His head snapped back and he fell back, twitching as he choked. The axe was in the air for a second until finding its place in the Krieg soldier's right hand. So now he's using a chaos weapon. The cultists stopped with their taunts, eyes glued on the scene that just played out. A cultist sneered, "Ye bloody get!" He roared, charging with his saber in an overhead motion. Anticipating the cultist's foolish charge, the Kriegsman sweeps his... Stop switching between present and past tense. Sweeps his legs with the axe handle and buried the blade in his back, getting a loud gurgling in reply from the cultist. He narrowly dodged a multiple swords, plural swords, slash from another filthy heretic. Oh my god.
Don't you see, the filthy heretic was dual wielding?
He was dual wielding swords.
He was dual this.
Oh my god, it's Chaos Kirito. Kill him!
So it's just Kirito then.
Also, if these guys aren't orcs, then they're just British. That's the only way I can explain that fucking...
They're just British.
Maybe this is the planet of Birmingham. How much of a clusterfuck is.
This is the fate of Birmingham.
This is just what happens in Birmingham. When you walk out in the streets of Birmingham, this is what you see.
It's just fucking London.
What did I miss? It's just London?
It's just London. We're in London.
No, this is the planet of Birmingham, which is canon in 40k.
Yeah.
It's a hellish place without light, so dark that the culture of the planet has deteriorated.
It's about filled with low intelligence. It's a low intelligence populace with no light.
So it's just like Birmingham.
Yeah.
A knee was driven beneath the cultist's armor into his guts. The cultists, plural, armor into his guts. As he bent over the corpseman, the corpseman threw him across his shoulders, fireman style, and spun twice before pushing upwards and sending the heretic into 2 of his comrades. So it's just fucking wrestling moves now. This is WWE.
I was going to.
When's the point where he picks up a folding chair and hits somebody who's like an announcer or some shit?
Where's Donald Trump?
Snap into a Slim Jim, brother.
Also, if you
later continue.
Also, if you spelled Corpsman there with a C instead of a K, a Corpsman with a C is an actual thing. It's the Navy version of a medic, so.
Yeah, but he's not a fucking medic. He's a grenadier with a sniper kit. With a sniper kit.
And a bolt pistol. Don't forget.
And a knife.
But he chooses to use a shovel in combat instead.
And
he's real angry.
Oh my god. 2 more heretics charged from opposite sides of the room. The Krieg sniper tried pulling the axe out of one of his previous kills, but was unable to do so. With the other 2 rushing, he broke the handle off 3 inches before the axe head. A machete swing was parried, and the blunt body of the wooden cracked against the heretic's jaw, effectively breaking it. The heretic to the Kriegsman back, stabbed his sword forward, but instead of hitting the fucking Krieger, he stabbed his friend and found the splintered handle being rammed through his gut.
So it's splintered, yet it's dull.
I don't know. Don't look at me.
Look,
he's maybe talking about the wooden crack, okay?
Look.
It split 3 inches from the shaft of the actual bladed part.
Don't question the sharpness of the wooden, okay, lol? It's wooden. It's a wooden. A singular wooden.
Also, I would just like to point out, when you're referring to them as guardsmen, they're called Kriegsmen. When you're referring to them in a very, non-respectful tone, you'd call them Kriegers. And then when you're referring to them as the people from the planet, they would just be called Kriegsmen. You're using Kriegsmen for the 2 different things. Yeah. But calling them Kriegers is just literally if you were like an asshole, just like, hey, you fucking filthy ass Krieger. It's disrespectful.
With stupefied looks before slumping backwards, sliding off slightly. 5 heretics remained, 4 fighters, and the priest still conducting his chanting. Trying to find a weakness in the corpsman was impossible. They barely even touched him. What are you? A cultist hissed, revving a chainsword that still bore Imperium insignias. No answer came from the sniper, as his small cape billowed to the small burst of wind that snuck into the building.
Hold up.
Wait. No, lol, you have to hear this.
It's when Kriegsman have a fucking cape.
Enraged, the heretic charges, screaming an awful war cry, slashing at the soldier fruitlessly as he dodged every slash. Enraged.
Alright, so, where do I fucking begin? From the grammar, terrible talk grammar, to the fact that, alright, so, Kriegsmen don't actually like chainsaws that much unless you're an officer. And even then, it's more of style points than anything. So, where the fuck did they get that from? If it has Imperial insignia on it, so it's not homemade?
I don't know. They got it from a Space Marine or a fucking guardsman office. I don't fucking know.
No. If there's different levels of chainsaw. There's chainsaw for humans and then there's chainsaw for Space Marines. Where the fuck did he get that from?
Nobody knows. There is no answer.
I assume but look at PDF, but that's me trying to install some kind of lore into this garbage.
I want to know why the Kriegsman has a fucking mono knife instead of a plain ass combat knife.
Wait, it's a mono knife?
What the hell's
mono
the
knife.
difference?
What do you say? You have bayonet.
Also, even then, he wouldn't have a fucking knife. He would have the fucking entrenching tool because that has a knife blade and shit on it.
No,
Grenadiers have a sword bayonet.
Oh, they must be using the EOD knives then, since he's a fucking grenadier, and that's supposed to be explosive disarming.
No.
Is somebody gonna tell me what the fuck a mono knife is, please?
It's a knife with a monomolecular edge. extremely expensive to make, so they're very rarely given out to your grunts.
Fucking
They're
guardsmen.
like Space Marine equipment.
All right, you imagine. What are those specialists? Are those knives that are so sharp yet it's incredibly hard to work with the material? I'm thinking of
Damascus steel?
No.
Titanium knives.
not titanium. It's like a rock.
Obsidian.
Anyway, obsidian knives. It's basically that, but molecular.
So even better. Huh.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mm-hmm.
They're very good knives.
So why does he have it? Where do you get it from?
Because fuck you.
Like this thing is from. This guy must have played, or at least read the Dark Heresy books if he knows where a mono knife is, or knows the description of one. So where the fuck did this guy get it from?
That's probably where he's getting
This
all
is
of
the
this
Dark
from.
Heresy.
Oh no, he's a
No,
Dark
it's a
Heresy
Dark Heresy
character.
character. Oh god.
No.
He's just a fucking
That would explain all the kind of
DH2
garbage.
Oh, that would make so much sense. Why he's just walking around with this shit. It's that it's not an actual Kriegsman. It's just his Dark Heresy character.
Who happens to be a Kriegsman, yeah.
Not even
His
Also,
origin.
Oh god.
Also, your guys' pain tastes delicious, let me just tell you.
His origin is Kriegsman. Nothing else is. Oh.
The Kriegsman unsheathed his mono knife in a flash and went underneath a swing and slashed across the heretic's belly. Remember, heretics, that's plural, not possessive. So he slashed multiple heretic bellies. He grabbed the hand guard. So, a guard for your hand that was a hand space guard of the sword and wrestled it from his grip while driving the mono knife through his neck. You slashed... Oh... Before the heretic died, the Kriegsman leaned in closely. I am the death's judgment! He dropped the heretic as the light fled from his dark eyes, and the last three raised their weapons in defiance for the cold fear they felt running through their spines. With his mono knife in hand and his newly acquired chainsword, the sniper crossed them over his chest, muttering a silent prayer to himself. For the glory of chaos. For the glory of chaos. The one in the middle cried, charging forward with the two behind him following. In a swift motion, the Kriegsman threw the mono knife at the one in the middle, embedding it right between his eyes. The other two charged past, not caring for their fallen comrade. In one swing, the sniper swept the heretic to the right of him, legs with the back end of the chainsword, sending him to the ground. Bring the adamantium teeth around to slash the other in half, bringing the sword to the downed one's guts, letting the teeth eat away his insides for a few measly seconds. With the calmness of a walk in the park, he plucked his knife out of the one heretic that led, as in the metal lead, the charge from before, his eyes crossed, looking at the knife with a dumbfounded look. No, it's gonna be a dumbfounded penis. A simple scouting mission had just turned into a bloodbath, and the warp gate was now open. Good job! A tear through time in space. In space.
You mean a tear into the warp?
A tear through time, space, in space. Space. That held
Space.
unknown possibilities to the user unless they had specific wish to command its raw power. No, that's not how the warp works. You! He pointed at the priest that now had his attention. You're next. Have them at me, that imperial slave dog. Your efforts are in vain. His eyes started to glow and lightening flashed from his fingertips, firing an erratic arc at the Kriegsman, only for him to hit the dead kneeling heretic. Lightening, as in to lighten. To raise the shade of a material, of a color, to lighten a color. The fucking spelling and grammar. My god.
The whitewashing from his fingertips, okay?
He shot rays of white power beams. He's not chaos, he's just the KK chaos. It's just KK chaos.
Oh, I would have trained in competence, but whatever. Let's continue.
Oh my fucking god! I have to write that one down.
It goes to the end to chapter 1. Oh god.
The sniper had both hands on his sword's grip as he bobbed and weaved like he was trained to do. As he was remove the do, you dumb fuck. In his line of work, you had to think faster than the enemy could squeeze the trigger, or in this case, fire lightning bolts. Okay. It's spelled correctly this time. It's not lightening, it's lightning. A straight line of
this
lightning.
time is not okay. This time is not a bolt of whitewash.
He's not firing white power beams anymore. He realized those have no effect. Where?
We had a straight line of lightning.
That didn't stop the Kriegsman from charging as he ground his teeth to the paint.
A stray line of lightning from a bolt zapped him, sending a sporadic pain through his body, but that didn't stop the Kriegsman from charging as he ground his teeth to the pain and lunged. The heretic's eyes widened for a moment as the roaring teeth ripped a trench across his abdomen. He looked down and saw the Krieger in a kneeling position with an audible pant. The Krieger rose as the cultist fell. You! Watch this, dog! He spat out his blood. Every breath seemingly pushed his insides further out. This means nothing! A demon shall walk through that portal into this very room and eat your soul! What room? The wait.
Wow. He's very verbose for a dude getting fucking eviscerated with a chainsaw.
The Krieger asked. What do you? That's when he saw the stick grenade's pin fall in front of his eyes, and saw in his horror as the guardsman lazily tossed the grenade back to the fuel tanks.
What? Excuse me?
For the Emperor! He stated, closing his eyes as the tanks explode and the world goes dark for him.
He threw a stick grenade backwards so it can destroy the fuel tanks set up on the middle of the episode.
You know, this is paced like an actual Dark Heresy session. You know, with all those pauses in between to let us know when it's their time to speak and everything, and those awkward talking points that don't sound good in between. That don't sound good when it's actually written out.
Oh my god, Law. Oh my god.
Does it feel like that?
I just had an idea. What if this was his actual fucking 40k session? Like he's
That's
just
what I'm saying! This is literally, this sounds like a 40k session read out loud with no reformatting to fit the actual text. The way that the actions are played out, the way that the character goes through shit that he has no right to survive, like getting psycho lightning, despite the fact that in lore that kills everything in your fucking body.
Mm-hmm.
But it wasn't lightning, Lally. It was whitewashing.
It was a lightening, not lightning.
Oh, I forgot. He wasn't actually trying to kill him, he was trying to whitewash him.
He was trying to induct him
Yeah.
into the KKK.
Welcome
And the one
to the
dude,
KKK.
and the one dude was very coherent and long-winded for a dude getting eviscerated by a chainsaw.
From
And
fucking
having
like groin to chest or throat. Yeah.
Oh god.
But
Let's
this
fucking start with equipment. Oh yeah, Kriegsman. Very specific equipment, and they never ever touch it. They don't change the topic, they don't change the fucking setting on the last guns. They don't even get more ammunition like every other guardsman. They just grab whatever the quartermaster gives them and go to war with it.
Alright. Alright.
Which is
I suggest we read one more chapter because these are very short compared
This
to
one-
cyanide sins.
this
Yeah.
one This
Yeah, we
one
can
was-
read 2 more. This one and
Okay.
the next.
this
I was
one
gonna
was
say next chapter is when the ruby shit comes in. Sorry, lol. Go ahead.
I was
Yeah,
just gonna say this one was Corper.
let me find some Bob Roth. Brock. For the next chapter then.
Well, we're
Alright.
going right to the next chapter. I think we don't need to say anything about the last one. Courier, why don't you read this one?
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. All right.
I
So
need
what
to
were
my
you
voice
saying,
break.
Lolly?
Yeah.
I was just gonna say at least he's blessedly short. So it's not just us sleeping through it.
Oh yes, these are fucking paced very, very much faster, which is on one hand a boon, on the other.
On one hand, they're much faster. On the other, it's still shit pacing.
Look on the bright side, Kitty. It means we're gonna actually get through this in our lifetimes compared to cyanide sins. Oh. Anyway, 2 more you said. I'm gonna say
2 more.
two more you said. That means we'll get through 1/10 of the fucking story just on the first night. Wow, amazing.
Nice.
Wow.
That means that we have something to do after a month.
Yeah.
Yeah. Anyway, how should I sound if I'm? Actually, no, I'm not gonna say who says that.
These are German. Obviously German.
Is the Emperor German?
We don't know.
He's
the
Turkish.
sound like?
Jesus.
He's
He's Turkish.
Emperor Jesus.
Okay, fine. I'll just fucking say it then. Awaken! A voice bellowed through the Krieg sniper's ears. He jumped up even with his sore body protesting immensely. The environment around him put him on edge. There was no snow, ice, or even evidence that he was in the same war-torn city. He was in a forest, a red forest.
Oh no.
Oh, so you're in Chernobyl then. Okay.
He got
looking
fucking
down-
isekai'd. It wasn't the opposite. Oh, I was hoping it was the opposite.
Oh, no, Kitty. You poor son of a bitch.
bitch.
What do you think we said when it was mainly Ruby? Would that imply that the Ruby characters got isekai'd into 40k?
Yes.
That wouldn't make much sense.
That would make more sense than this.
I know it would make more sense, but no.
No. Oh no.
Considering what comes later, this is very plot important, Kitty.
Looking down, he saw that he was still in his uniform. The chainsword he had slept quietly next to him, its teeth unmoving and the engine silent. Rearming himself with the sword, he upholstered his bolt pistol. Man, he fucking upholstered that thing, gave it a new fucking coat of paint and everything. Rotating his shoulders, he found the long lass was firmly strapped on, waiting patiently for its turn to help end the life of either Heretic or Xeno. It truly didn't matter. Where the fuck am I? Was the first thought that ran through his head. The winterized battlefield was long gone because this planet was obviously in a springtime season or something close. Time never really mattered to the sniper. There were so many different time zones in the galaxy that people went by, so he long abandoned trying to remember them all. Taking cautious steps forward, eyes darting with his head on a swivel and his fingers gripping the handle of his bolt pistol, he remembered the warp gate the Chaos Priest opened and suspected he was propelled through it. Why hadn't the unholy denizens of the warp taken him, he did not know. Perhaps the Emperor had spared him, instead of having his soul torn to shreds by the perverted, despicable power. Who the fuck is doing that? Who the fuck is doing that? Corper?
We are chaos. Chaos is strong.
Shut the fuck up. Shut the fuck up. I'm trying to read this garbage, okay? Instead of having his soul torn to shreds by the perverted, despicable powers of the warp, he rescued the sniper and has now sent him to an Imperial world that needs protection. Or maybe the warp... Yeah, that's exactly what the Emperor did. Or maybe the warp had set on... Or maybe the warp had been set on random.
The Emperor was literally sitting there doing a line of cocaine, and he goes, "Oh fuck!" and he just like wafts a fucking like a whole bunch of little idols sitting on his fucking desk because he's playing Warhammer. It just like sends one of them flying into his fucking neighbor's yard.
Cap, you know the scary thing is you're not entirely wrong.
Exactly. I don't even know this, but I figured that the Emperor was just doing a line of cocaine. He just whaps all of his fucking Warhammer figures, and the poor little Kriegsman flies over into his neighbor's fucking like apartment or something, and he's a fucking Ruby weeb.
I find it more
Maybe
interesting.
this was a plan, or it wasn't.
I find it more interesting to imagine that the Emperor just hit the random switch on the warp as if it wasn't random enough.
Or maybe the warp had been set on random and set him to an unknown... Set him, not sent him, set him to an unknown world, if that was even possible. Survival training began to kick in as he attempted to locate the planet's life-giving star. It was still high up in the sky, signifying that the day had only started, or has only started. He began to curiously venture out into the forest in the hopes that he'd eventually stumble upon a settlement of some sort. The possibility of this world being an agricultural world was high, once again, D-O instead of D-U-E, due to the lack of smog smothering the sky, which would have been his landmark for a hive city, or any city for that matter. Finding no other option, he began to march with the chainsword leaning against his shoulder. And then... Oh my god, Kitty. Oh my god. Oh my god, Kitty.
What?
Kitty, is that how... Are you looking... Are you still looking at the same thing I'm doing? Kitty, is that how you do a fucking cut to another character? Is that how you do that?
I'm gonna go with it. ...
Finding no other option, he began to march with the chainsword leaning against his shoulder, then Beacon Academy, ... and then it cuts to another character's perspective.
Yeah, no, you do a fucking,
A break? A line break?
Not a
yeah, like
line
Cyanide?
You do,
Like Cyanide Sins does? Does he actually do something right?
Yes, he actually does.
Oh my god!
Well,
Cyanide Sins does something right compared to this guy, holy shit.
Change paragraph, just tell us the new sentence. Usually is when you finish a scene, which would have been better for this fucking chapter, but I'm going to go into that later.
Yes, I was gonna say you don't just fucking do a space, then say Beacon Academy, a fucking ellipsis, then another space, and then it's the other character's perspective. That's not how that works. Even I know that, and I suck at writing. Good lord. Anyway, at Beacon Academy, inside the most prestigious huntsman training school in all of Remnant sat the charismatic headmaster of the school. No, it's not. Charismatic headmaster of the school, monitoring his students on their newest assignment with his assistant and best friend. Best friend? No. Glenda Goodwitch. He already known that something had been off with a young Mr. Jean Arc. It didn't take him long to figure out his credentials were forged, and it most certainly didn't take an expert in psychology that another boy, Cardin Winchester, had discovered John used fake papers to get to Beacon Academy and was currently blackmailed. Okay. Now he had several options, all of which could be used to discipline the boys, if not flat out expulse them. Expulse. Okay, thanks, author. But the headmaster was kind-hearted and a little bit curious on John's adaptability in a situation he could not run from. Perhaps he could make something of himself yet. Also, fucking Lao, Ruby man. I mean, I suppose I should know this as well, but I'm just asking you for confirmation.
Oh, wait, you say I had my headphones up because I needed to concentrate for a sec.
I was gonna say, isn't it fucking well established, or at least hinted at in the show, that Headmaster Ozpin let John into Beacon Academy even though he knew his credentials were forged? Like, he didn't find out afterwards. He knew before, right?
He knew from the outset that they were forged.
Yeah, he knew from the outset, so I don't know why this matters. Okay.
The answer doesn't continue.
It doesn't matter.
I mean, it's John, nothing matters.
Yeah. What he was not expecting, however, was for camera 83A to go through a fit of static before revealing a purple-black portal of some sort spit a person out of it. Said person was armed with an assortment of weaponry Ozpin had never laid eyes on before. The person's clothing was also one of the most disturbing things he's ever seen as well. Really, in all your fucking thousands of years, a Kriegsman is the most disturbing thing? Okay.
A fucking Kriegsman! You have seen the war machines walk the earth that has no right to move, and you want to call a Kriegsman the most disturbing thing you've ever seen? In a world of literal, heartless monsters,
Yeah.
the Kriegsman is the spooky one. Alright.
The obvious signs of battleware, as in, fucking battle that gives you wear, because it's not battleware, as in fucking wear and tear. The obvious signs of battleware foretold that the person was a warrior. His mask was decorated with a skull face, almost like the White Fang terrorists, only it was in the form of a human skull. Okay, great. Perhaps to intimidate one's enemies. Interesting. Back to our Krieger! I'm gonna read it like that, fuck it, I don't care. The forest was quiet, temperate with a soft breeze whistling past the ears with calmness. Everything about this forest was a red flag for the Krieg sniper. Nothing can be this peaceful. There had to be an ambush somewhere just waiting for him. Maybe this wasn't even a planet, but a dream created by a demon to steal his soul and corrupt his mind. That theory has some points.
How the fuck do you know that people can do that?
I don't know!
Hold on, what the fuck just happened?
God damn it, Lol, pay attention!
Hey, I look away for half a second to take care of my stuff and something new's fucked up.
Fuck. You go ahead.
Also, isn't it the thing too that the Kriegsmen are literally the only guardsmen that don't get regularly purged when they fight with demons?
No, they get more regularly enough because they don't give a shit, and they can get new regiments, whatever.
Wait, so this guy knows about demons too?
Exactly how they work. Yep.
Oh no, we've gotten into that part. Fuck.
I was gonna say, quote unquote, maybe this wasn't even a planet, but a dream created by a demon to steal his soul and corrupt his mind.
Oh my lord. Alright, maybe you could get away with that if it was like Cadian.
Or an Inquisitor, maybe?
Or an Inquisitor. Yeah. Cadians are known for fighting demons on the regular on Cadia. The problem is, this is a fucking Death Corps of Kriegsman. A Kriegsman. Even if he had access to that information, he wouldn't give a shit or trust that information.
Anyway, that let me play Azur Lane for a moment, and that was fun. Anyway. That theory had some points behind it. He was blown through a warp gate after all, but even if this was a demonic trick, it was just too wrong, even for the warp and its venomous lies. No. He says this is too wrong for the warp.
Oh, buddy.
Isn't the warp so fucking deadly to fucking normal people? If you walked into a portal unprotected, you would just immediately die in like the worst ways imaginable.
That's usually the result because you're being torn apart by billions upon billions of different soul-eating demons.
Yep, and like as Magnus said, peering into the warp is like looking at a collective seizure.
That too.
The fucking just a giant disco ball of seizureness. Alright. The Krieg sniper spotted a river 100 yards away from him. His canteen could feel heavier now that he thought of it. The water was unbelievably clean. With a silent prayer of gratitude to the God Emperor, he refilled his canteen twice after drinking his fill from the first time. His face could use cleaning too. His eyepieces were still giving a light purple from the xeno blood that had started to frost over on it. No, if you're in a fucking warm, temperate area now, it would be starting to melt, not frost over. That's not how that works. Thermodynamics. He hated it. He hated it when the enemy made his face dirty. Oh, boo-hoo.
What? A Kriegsman is a fucking drama queen?
Literally, Kriegsmen will fucking walk around with their friends' guts hanging off of them.
Yeah.
And when he did it with the water.
Oh, yeah. Oh, God. With little effort and actually... With little effort... What the fuck is this supposed to be? With little effort and actually cleans... Oh, it, not in. Alright, with little effort, it actually cleaned off rather easily. His face, it's because it says in. With little effort, it actually cleared off rather easily. His face was now clearer than a commissar's boots on inspection day. He now turned his attention to his uniform. It was covered in dried mud and multiple blood types and colors. Cleaning it was out of the question for now, perhaps later when he wasn't in such an open area for an ambush. Forever fall, Glenn the Good Witch! Yeah.
Did he forget about all the fucking chemicals the fucking code has?
I guess not.
Yeah, all of their coats are specially treated to where they can resist a little bit actual radiation and shit. So, yeah.
All kind of chemicals and shit.
Forever falls for us, Glenn the Good Witch! The mission was an overall success, although it most certainly could have gone better. Cardin Winchester and his cowardly teammates not only nearly killed each other, but they abandoned Cardin himself when he got pinned by an Ursa. Strangely enough, however, John Ark was for once able to handle the situation. A beeping noise brought the professor away from her thought. It was the headmaster calling, "Hold on, just a second." So this is like the fucking first contradiction in terms of the story. So Glenn fucking Goodwitch is out here, like in the field or whatever, like monitoring the students during that field trip,
But
right?
I
was gonna say, let's go back up to Beacon Academy. It's at the charismatic headmaster of the school, monitoring his students on their newest assignments with his assistant and best friend, Glinda Goodwitch. That means she's there with him.
No, technically, he only says that he's monitoring them. It does not say that he's sitting alongside her.
No, that's what it says, Lau. He's monitoring his students on their newest assignment with his assistant and best friend, Glinda Goodwitch.
With means that they are just viewing Skype chat together.
Oh my god, Lau, that's not what that fucking text implies. Fuck you.
No, he's just standing right next to there, just pulling a trump and grabbing her by the pussy, okay?
No, that's clearly what it implies, Courier, because he then materializes over by the fucking woods. Oh, this is so terrible!
Yeah, I didn't even notice that. Wow. I'm fucking going through it now with you guys. I'm starting to... Wow, I didn't even notice that. Okay.
This is why you don't skim shit. You read it, and then you find all the shit.
I was gonna say, I realized this was terrible even skimming it, though, so... Yeah, A beeping noise brought the professor away from her thought. It was the headmaster calling. Goodwitch speaking. Ozpin's upper body and desk appeared on her screen, but what disturbed her was that his normally stoic expression was deadest serious. Deadest serious?
Deadest serious? Dead serious?
Dead serious or deadly serious? But no, it's deadest serious.
It was the deadest serious.
It was the deadest serious there ever was. Goddamn.
Deadest serious that ever did it.
Rest in peace, that ship. I wanted to fuck her at some point. Anyway, Professor Goodwitch. Professor Goodwitch, I have a new assignment for the students, and it will require extreme caution. What? This soon after the latest one? Yes, I'm afraid so. The mission is actually relatively close to your position, and I suggest extreme caution. Otherwise, I would have sent a second, possibly third-year team to greet our new guest. Before she could protest or inquire further as to the identity of this guest, a separate feed appeared next to Ozpin's. The video came from a camera plagued with static. However, the static began to clear up, and what she saw greatly disturbed her. A portal of some sort came from practically nowhere, and it spat out what appeared to be a human being. A human being trying to mimic the Grim Reaper better than Ruby Rose and her scythe. In what ways does Ruby mimic the Grim Reaper other than having a scythe?
That's it. That's what it's saying.
That's all. Okay. She was utterly speechless. So many possible scenarios went through her head, and all of them did not end well for her students.
Why not? Alright. I gotta say, why not mention Crow? He literally said he styled himself after the Grim Reaper. This is a character in this series.
Or that, yeah, Crow would work better actually too. I'm not sure if they are ready for this, Ozpin. This thing may attack them on sight. I realize that is a possibility, Miss Goodwitch, but I am certain if a cautious approach is taken, then we may be able to engage in dialogue with this strange visitor. Okay, well, Ozpin is clearly stupid here, but that's fine, because that fits the show. I was gonna say, it fits the show. He's this stupid, alright? He literally is this stupid. I'm currently prepping a ship to go there myself. I just need you to make sure he doesn't get ambushed by the Grim or do anything regrettable. Goodwitch sighs. Alright then, try my best. Good luck. I have a feeling that I'll need it, Good Witch thought grimly as she looked at the students. Putting on her usual stern face, she clears her throat.
Listen up. The headmaster has just informed me that there is someone in the forest that requires our aid. Teams Ruby and Juniper are to accompany me. Cardinal is to stay here and guard the ship.
Hold up, is this during the,
Yeah, I was gonna say, yeah, this is... He's gonna rip the
Yeah,
grade.
during this.
This is during the, remember the arc in fucking Forever Fall or whatever, where, Cardin wanted, John to throw the jar of, like, tree sap or whatever at Pyrrha, that whole thing. Yeah.
That's the moment.
I thought this was during the, initiation, at which point I'd be like, wait, teams?
Yeah. No protest came from Team Cardinal, as they still had their tails, T-A-L-E-S, as in fucking a tale of stupidity like this story, between their legs. Team Ruby and Juniper, however, gave each other concerned looks, worrying if the stranger was any immediate danger. Back to our Krieg! The wounds he sustained weren't life-threatening, which meant he was still fit to serve the Emperor and still fit to ram his boot down a heretic's throat. Observing his surroundings once more to confirm that he was in fact alone, he proceeded to field strip his long lass and convert it to a lass rifle for the time being.
Oh, hold up.
That's not how you fucking do that.
You cannot do that. They're built differently.
Alright, cannot field strip a las gun. You can customize it, the scope of it, if it's a long last, but you cannot field strip one fucking las gun to a different version. That's not how they work. It's not an M16 becomes an M18.
Now,
And it's also the fact too that even for the las guns themselves, you can field strip them, but that's only like what? You're taking out like 4 different fucking parts and replacing them because you got the lenses that need to be replaced and the fucking tubing.
No, you cannot field strip the lenses. You can field strip the fucking barrel, and that's it.
You can field strip the barrel. That's the only real component that exists that feels strippable.
Can I say something now?
Sure.
Also, it wouldn't be like converting an M16 to an M18 or an M4 or something like that, lol. It'd be like taking an M40 sniper rifle and turning it into an M16 somehow.
Fair enough.
Yeah, it's much more egregious than you think.
You will be changing the the caliber, you will be changing the barrel, changing the fire mechanism. Holy shit.
Yeah,
also, Kelkons are backpack power. So...
No, this isn't a hell gun yet. We get to that later, Corporal, right? This is a last gun for the time being, which is less stupid than
No, long lasses need power too.
I know, isn't it used the fucking battery pack or whatever?
Yeah, this is another one.
It has they're similar, but the Hellgun uses a much bigger pack that sucks energy from than a long last.
Yeah, that you actually have to like wear on your back, right?
Yeah.
Like the fucking minigun from Fallout or whatever when you equip that fucking thing.
Pretty much.
Yeah, okay. Anyway, a long lass uses more charge than the lass rifle in exchange for more damage done to the target. Lass rifles also charge faster, which is why he didn't convert to a hellgun. Then again, that would also take longer for him to convert, and time was never on his side.
Kriegsman, don't modify their weapons!
Kriegsman can't, they can't, and they wouldn't.
They would rather die, I'm pretty sure. Yeah. They're like they're like the Covenant in that regard.
They will not customize their weapons. It is a gift. You do not look a gift last gun in the lens.
That's a great sentence, Law. You do not
Also,
look a gift last gun in the lens.
If you modify it, means they cannot be given to somebody else when you fucking die.
Anyway. And now, oh god, this is another thing. Pick a fucking name for whatever you have or whatever and stick to it because, okay, this is one sentence, listen to this. With his flashlight rifle, okay, that's another name for a fucking las gun, I guess. In proper condition, he loads the spare parts for the long lass into his backpack for safekeeping. Stop switching between shit. Jesus.
And there's no fucking spare parts. A las gun is literally made of 3 fucking parts.
Oh. Outside the game, we call them flashlights because we find them funny. Nobody in the universe does that.
Oh, is that not an in-universe thing? Oh, I didn't know that.
No.
No, nobody calls them flashlights.
Gaunt's books, I haven't been in the Sci-Fi's game books, in none of them.
Not even in the joke books did he call them flashlight.
Interesting. Okay. All right. I actually learned something cool. One would never know. Oh, sorry.
It's like calling a fucking AK-47 a pea shooter. Because artillery batteries exist.
No, it's like calling AK-47 a pea shooter because it's not meant to destroy an M1 Abrams.
Yep.
One would never know when they need to adapt to the battlefield. The Death Corps always had their regular guardsmen. They always had their grenadiers, but he was... Oh, here we go. But he was one of the special kinds of grenadiers.
Oh, there's no special again. It's a fucking Watchmaster.
Let me keep going. 1 out of every 200 would show a trait like his. They were at times referred to as Todos Commandos or Death Commandos. They were highly adaptable and highly lethal
You're
grenadiers.
talking about the Rough Riders.
Oh my lord! Did he just take the title of the Death Riders and just not understand the point of that title?
I was going to say, I know, as me who barely knows any German, even though I took it for 4 years, automatically know fucking Todes does not mean death. You know what means death? Untoten. Like Kino der Toten, Nacht der Untoten from Call of Duty. So it'd be Untoten Kommando. Alright? God damn. Motherfucker.
The Rough Riders are the only ones who see initiative because they're meant to be behind enemy lines. The rest of them, no. Just no.
Just no.
Just
no fucking
no.
Fuck this shit. Just no.
You don't even get a name until you're an officer.
Yeah. Anyway, can I keep going now?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Keep sitting in silence.
Okay, thank you. Because we're almost done with this chapter. Like I said, thank God they're short. Slinging the rifle across his back and cracking his stiff neck, he began his march down the way the river flowed. If memory best served him, less advanced worlds typically kept close to the rivers for nourishment. No, what would be the word? It's not nourishment.
Sustenance.
Sport.
For hydration. There we go, for hydration, not fucking nourishment. Because fucking irrigation exists. Anyway, and if you're not far enough along to fucking have irrigation in a society like basic irrigation, then you're not worth saving, okay? Hopefully it wouldn't take too long for him to find a settlement, and if the Emperor allows it. It's in fucking VC, you have to scroll up a bunch, Cap, but it's here.
Alright, because I want to read the third one.
Hopefully it wouldn't take too long for him to find a settlement, and if the Emperor allows it, allow him to establish communications with the Imperial Guard. He didn't get 10 paces until he faintly heard the crunch of leaves. Swiftly he took cover behind a tree with his chainsword gripped tightly in his left hand and his right hand cocking the bolt pistol slow enough to have it not utter a sound. How do you cock a pistol with one hand? It's not a revolver.
Listen, this is a man that has grown a third arm whilst we weren't looking.
Okay, that makes sense. Taking a cautious look, he began to size up the people that came down from a path that came from over a hill. Nice sentence there. 9 contacts. 1 adult female and 8 juvies around my age. Light armor on several individuals, while the rest seemed to be in civilian attire, carrying small to medium-sized objects. Said objects may be collapsible weapons. 1 rapier was visible on a girl wearing white, while 1 redhead had a bronze shield and a blonde boy hand. And a blonde boy hand, not had a one-handed... a blonde boy hand. Had a one-handed broadsword accompanied with a shield. Threat levels moderate. He thought computer-like. The odds of these being regular children was low, considering how some were armed. The next step would have to be an earth-shattering surprise. Okay, whatever. He spun around the tree corner with the bolt pistol aimed for the older woman. Hands up! Hands up! Yeah, that what an earth-shattering surprise. You pop out from behind the tree with a gun. Was really a surprise. Okay. Hands up! They froze stiff with startled, turning terrified expressions. No, you mean startled expressions turning terrified. That's... oh my god. Don't move a muscle. I can't read this in fucking German, I'm sorry. Don't move a muscle! There we go. The woman leading the group took a small intake of air before she nervously cleared her throat, much like a car would. My name is Glenda Goodwin. She stopped mid-sentence as a bolt was discharged, passing right by her head. She turned around frantically, fearing a student was shot, but was relieved and terrified to see an Ursa Minor with its head in pieces, and a large gaping hole going through its shoulder out through its back. The beast fell over a second after its death, twitching as it started to disintegrate. The Krieg sniper walked over to the dead beast and gave it a good kick to make sure it was dead. Pathetic beast! He turned his attention back to the woman and walked right up to her, weapons in hand. Also, no, that's fucking... You gotta put a comma there. He walked right up to the woman, weapons in hand. Fuck me.
State your name, occupation, and residency of Homeworld, and its segmentum identification.
Good. What were you gonna say, Law?
I was gonna say, he's used the last, right? He's used the last gun.
No, the last gun is on his back. He's using a bolt pistol now, I guess.
All right. So why is there still pieces left of Ursa Minor?
Why isn't it just like a smear on the ground?
Why is the upper torso not just a smear on the ground?
Why is it only the head that explodes from a bolt pistol?
It's Ursa Minor.
Minor. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Because that's a really strong bear. Goodwitch blinked. Goodwitch blinked, dumbfounded.
What?
What is the name of this world, civilian? I will not ask of again once more. That sounded like a threat to Goodwitch, but then again the stranger just saved them from a grim. None of them noticed.
My name is Glenda Goodwitch. I'm a professor at Beacon Academy. I also live in a professor's dormitory in the academy. But I don't know what you mean by...
I'm not going to do that voice, sorry, that's going to kill my voice. But I don't know what you mean by this segmentum, but the planet is called Remnant. We are currently in Forever Fall Forest, located on the continent of Vital near the Kingdom of Vale. The Krieger was silent, confused by this new information. This planet, Remnant, must have been cut off from the Imperium for quite some time to not recognize a member of the Imperial Guard, and to not even know the name of their segmentum. He's not an Imperial Guardsman, though. He's a fucking Death Corps of Krieg. Well, whatever. Goodwitch cleared her throat again.
If I may...
Fucking son of a bitch. If I may ask, what is your... Fuck! If I may ask, what is your name and where do you come from? The question broke the Krieger out of his trance, deciding that the people he's encountered are not hostile. He holstered his pistol. How do you know that? You're a fucking Kriegsman. God damn it. I was gonna say, you were fucking saying this all might just be a demon trick or whatever 5 seconds ago, but now you're just like, oh yeah, I'll put away my weapon. You people must be alright. Clicking the heels of his boots and giving a crisp salute, he sounded off with a heavy monotone. 34567 8-008976 Hansel of the 263rd. It should be third, not TH. 263rd Death Corps of Krieg Siege Regiment. Designation, Grenadier Death Commando. Planet of origin, Krieg, Segmentum Tempestus. Imperial of Man's Imperial Guard.
There's Siege Regiment?
Yep, Siege Regiment.
There's a siege regiment which would explain nothing.
That
Raise question.
That raises more questions as to why he's allowed to have all this shit.
All this shit? I don't fucking know.
Yeah, siege regiments are known for attrition, so all the fucking equipment is garbage and easily produced in place.
Yep. Glenda was not able to... Go ahead.
I say they are literally not allowed to get anything that is supposed to be produced by a forge work.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't fucking know. Sorry, I was finding my place again. Glenda was not able to come up with anything. She was absolutely speechless at what he just said. She wanted to call bullshit, but she saw the footage of his arrival, and it honestly scared her. Everything about him was off. She detected no emotion from his voice.
How old are you?
Hansel turned his attention to a girl with black hair wearing a bow on her head. Fuck you, Blake. She looked distressed, but also curious about his origins. 17. The conscription process for Kriegans begins as soon as we learn to crawl. He raised his brow to the chorus of gasps and sympathetic looks. Ahem! Hansel snapped his... Oh, that's fucking Ozpin, never mind. Ahem. Hansel snapped his head towards a gray-haired man wearing green and black coming towards the group, walking with a cane. Mr. Hansel, I would, with your permission, like to introduce myself. Hansel eyed the man curiously. You may? My name is Headmaster Ozpen, and I would like to formally welcome you to Remnant. Now, if you would kindly follow me, I'm sure we can straighten out certain matters. Hansel silently stared at the headmaster as he called himself. I will follow you. However, if you try anything, know that you forfeit not only your life, but all of their lives as well. The headmaster meets Hansel's stare. Are you saying that you take on 8 huntsmen and huntresses in training and 2 veteran huntsmen alone? In life... Oh, God. In life, war. In death, peace. In life, shame. In death, atonement. I don't care if you are 10, if you 10 are demon-possessed space marines, I will kill you all or die trying.
Where the fuck does he know about demon-possessed space marines?
I don't fucking know.
How does he know about fucking Chaos Astartes in the first place? How does he know that some have been possessed by demons?
How does he know
that demons can possess at all?
Okay, this is Lorgar's special boy. That's why.
Oh my god! No, this
I get to see it now.
we
Like,
know
this
what
is
the
actually a
demon
fucking
possessed
fan fiction Lorgar wrote one time.
I can
He was
totally...
watching Ruby on the television, Lorgar.
Listen, this all makes
He's
sense.
like, I need to make a religion out of this. Who do I have as a male antagonist? Oh, that's right, Kriegsman.
I can see this kind of guy just being introduced to 40k through that heresy. Oh yeah, what are you gonna put your points into? Lore. Only lore? Yeah, I want to know what's in this galaxy. Alright, demons, Astartes, Tau, orcs, everything. Alright, can you do anything? I can find my gun.
I can shoot. Oh fuck, I have to get good equipment now.
Don't do anything, oh yeah. I don't care if you are 10 demon-possessed space marines, I will kill you all or die trying. Don't do anything you'd regret. Hansel stood his ground. Ignorance was never accepted by or from Kriegans. It didn't matter if they were...
Ignorance is your strength, you dumb cunt!
Literally, that is a fucking mantra in the Imperium. Ignorance is strength.
Bless is the mind too small for doubt.
For doubt, yeah. It didn't matter if they were warp-spawned monstrosities or lowly civilians. You will know very early on that killing means nothing to them. Also, again, present tense. Very well then. Come with me, please. Ozpen motioned over the hill, much to the confusion of his students and assistant, as they were still stunned by Hansel's blatant death threat to everyone.
Well, when you form it that way, it sounds kind of ridiculous.
Oh yeah, and by the way, his fucking name is based off of an older Tales character or whatever, because his name is Hansel, and can you guess what his sister was called? Quote-unquote
Gretel?
sister? Yes.
Well, he has a sister?
He has a quote-unquote sister, even though he acknowledges that due to the Vita womb, they really don't have sisters, but he was like, oh, we were born in the same batch or something, so I guess I considered her my sister.
No, they're all technically family.
Or that too, I don't fucking know.
This guy went through the fucking trouble of finding a German-sounding name to give his fucking OC, Gary Stu, to throw into Ruby.
Remember to
From his Dark Heresy game.
Do not get names until they are officers.
Alright, I'm gonna
Officers.
I'm gonna keep going next chapter, because I don't fucking care anymore.
Oh, can I read the next chapter?
No.
You
I found
dirty
this.
motherfucker.
I found this. I get to read this garbage, okay? And
You
make all of
dirty
you suffer.
motherfucker.
Look, Cap, I found this piece of shit. It's my job to read it to all of you, alright?
Hey, I want to
Maybe
I want
shit,
to
but
fucking
it's
read
my
something
shit.
once. Yeah, I want to read something, you fucker.
Fine, you know what? We'll keep fucking going until it's like
The
11.
bullhead, as the
11:30.
headmaster called.
Fuck it. The bullhead, as the headmaster called it, was hardly impressive. It had no visible ballistic capabilities, no real armor protecting it. It was basically an underdone troop transport that was a sitting duck in the sky. No way whatsoever was Hansel impressed, albeit it be quite an achievement to impress a Death Corps guardsman. No, it wouldn't. Hansel let Ozpin step onto the flying machine first. If he tried anything, he'd have a chainsword rammed through his back. The interior was just a simple metal hull with seats on either sides of the aisle. Definitely a dropship, or defiantly a dropship, if Hansel ever saw one. Only it lacked grav chutes or even the ancient parachutes that were kept in case of equipment failure. The patter of footsteps coming up from behind him threw Hansel into a combat mode, raising the chainsaw to the entrance and a bolt pistol aimed for the now sitting headmaster. Headmaster. What are they doing here? Hansel asked, glaring at the 4 girls standing at the mouth of the bullhead, particularly the closest one wearing red. They are merely here to ensure that things remain civil between you and I. Now please, lower your weapons. I'm sure that we can be civilized now, can't we? A frown crossed Hansel's face at the calm tone Ozpin had. It was almost as if he was expecting open hostility from the Kriegsman. Hansel lowered the running teeth of the chainsword from the trembling girl's neck and holstered the bolt pistol, but kept the holster strap loose in case he had to draw again very quickly. The girl in red let out a shaking breath she had been holding. Miss Rose, are you all right? Ozpin asked with mild concern, keeping his eyes on the Krieg guardsman as he sat down across from his person.
Yes, Headmaster. Shaken but not stirred.
So funny. Shaken but not stirred. Fuck. She squeaked, trying to lighten the mood and drown out her heart as it thumped in her ears. Hansel took a quick glance over to the group of girls, all of them excluding the red one, appearing to be giving him angry glares, obviously not taking kindly to him or the threats he gave to everyone. Mr. Hansel, if I may inquire, why exactly are you conscripted to your military at such a young age? Motherfucker, Ruby is 15! God damn it.
You have softcore child soldiers, and you have the balls to ask that.
No, what he's referring to is when Hansel said we're conscripted by the age when we're old enough to crawl. That's what he's talking about. Not his current age now, but the whole... Yeah, when you're a toddler, you're enlisted.
That's still fucking stupid because he's 17. Oh, fuck it. Who gives a shit? I was gonna say you can train someone or whatever from birth to be a soldier. That doesn't mean you're gonna throw them out into combat when they're just crawling. The Kriegsmen don't take infants and fucking throw them out into a trench and say, go fucking kill someone.
They do throw them into trenches underground as a form of playing. They don't actually throw them into actual trenches on the top.
You get what I'm saying, Lau. Okay, you get what I'm saying.
Sorry.
Lau, they're their entire war is fucking trenches, so... Who gives a shit?
The headmaster asked, earning him the Kriegsman's full attention, but like I said, fuck you, Ozpin. You fucking have a 15-year-old sitting there, fuck you. To provide the best guardsmen to the Imperium of Man, to pay for our ancestors' past sins against the God Emperor of mankind, and to be ready to face off against all enemies of the mankind. I can't imagine...
Motherfucker Acadian.
I don't fucking know. I can't imagine that your parents approved of such a thing, Ozpin stated, feeling a slight bit of unease hearing the emotion-voided finality of Hansel's statement.
He's just shitting out the emotions.
I think you mean emotionally void. Emotionally
I'm
void
shitting out my soul feelings.
Jesus fucking Christ.
He voided his emotions. He fucking spaced them.
He's seen his plot-like fluctuations.
I do not have parents, Ozpin raised his brow. I, along with millions of others, are created from the Vitavom. It is a device that combines the DNA of a Kriegsguardsman and a Kriegsguardswoman. Sometimes it just splices the DNA of one and changes a few chromosomes, pulling some traits from their genetic history to engineer a new guardsman.
How did the guardsman even know about this?
How does
he know how the Vitavom works? Yeah.
Why does he care? And why is he explaining this to us?
How did he know what chromosomes are? I thought you were fucking... Lol, remember when I said, oh yeah, fucking Courier 6 or whatever knows, like, nuclear physics and shit, but it's not that big of a deal, and he's like, and fucking lol, I remember when I was creating my character, was like, most Imperial Guardsmen are like fucking... your average Imperial citizen would not even know how to operate, like, a fucking computer, know what a computer is. They would view it as, like, sorcery. You expect me to know this? You expect me to know this motherfucker knows what DNA and chromosomes are? Okay.
Oh, that point.
What it is.
Oh yeah. Right. He would. Why is he in the position of knowing that?
I don't know.
Like even most rogue traders understand that concept. It's like basically exclusively biologists.
Mm-hmm. Silence dominated the bullhead. Hansel looked over to the 4 girls and saw that their angry expressions were instead replaced with shock and horror. Some even had their hands covering their mouths. Oh, it's so sad. Ozpin himself no longer had his usual poker face. Instead, he had looked as if he had stepped on a puppy's tail.
Yes, I like the image in my mind that Ozpin just... It's not like he doesn't have other expressions. He's just keeping a constant poker face, that's all.
Constant poker face. Anyway, he had a fucking look like he stepped on a puppy. I'm sorry, I had no idea that... What do you mean by pay for your ancestors' sins? Our Kriegans are designed to die in the Emperor's divine name. Some die sooner during their training. He answered monotonously, still unable to comprehend the disturbed looks everyone in the bullhead had. We die in service of mankind. For the Emperor, there is no greater honor.
Aren't you ever scared of dying?
He turned his head to the red one again. The Death Corps do not tolerate fear. We are broken mentally and rebuilt to be stronger than iron.
Broken mentally? Who the fuck is this?
And rebuilt to be stronger than iron. We are broken physically and rebuilt to be stronger than steel. We are the Emperor's will. The answer to
If they break, they were too weak. This is the culture where if your legs break during training, you are thrown into the forge, and you will most likely be beaten to death at night by other Kriegsmen.
I was going to say the fucking God, what's it called? The guy's not even using Krieg term. He's using the fucking term like you would if you joined the Marine Corps, and how they say, oh yeah, in the Marine Corps they break you down or whatever to your base
And
components.
build you up better because that's the job.
Yeah, I was gonna say that's not what fucking Death Corps of Kriegs do.
No, you're either strong enough or you're not. That's their philosophy.
Yeah. The answer drew in some fearful looks from the girl. Also, is the fucking Imperial Guard in general called the Emperor's Will? I thought that was the...
we are the Emperor's Will. That's any branch of the Imperial Service. From societies to Imperial Guard.
Okay, I guess I just...
It's usually we are the Emperor's Will is an Imperial Guard thing, whilst we are the Angels of Death is the Space Marine.
Yeah, okay, cool.
The other is what the Hammer of the Emperor.
Yeah.
We are the Hammer of the Emperor, we are the Hand of the Emperor or something, yeah. The answer drew in some fearful looks from the girls. Ozpin, however, looked at him with utter pity. Well, now that you are on Remnant, do you have any other plans for what you'll do now? This planet has no planetary defense force or Imperial Guard regiment. We didn't... What the fuck kind of accent am I doing? I don't know. We didn't even know that there were other planets out there that could support life. Science concerning astrology has been largely abandoned because all attention is diverted to slaying the creatures of Grimm. Ozpin answered, pulling up.
It's because the fucking dust doesn't work in outer space.
Also, and realistically, that wouldn't stop them from researching space via other means or discovering the fact that, oh, maybe we could make a rocket using ethanol or something. I don't fucking know.
It's like saying the rat problem you got in the 18th century or the 15th century is stopping us from going into the space age.
Exactly. They were perhaps the least menacing thing the Krieger had ever seen before. A baby Nid of the Grimm. I mean, he's not wrong. He's
right.
Yeah, a baby Nid looked more threatening. An orc could even be more threatening, so he also knows what Tyranids and orcs are as well. Okay. Yeah. I do not recognize these creatures. Although I guarantee they are now on my exterminatus list. The Grenadier could almost laugh.
Why don't you know what exterminatus is?
I don't know.
Why does he know what exterminatus is, and why does he have a fucking list?
I don't know.
Most Inquisitors don't have a fucking list.
He's got a list. He's checking it twice.
He's gonna find
what planet I'm gonna burn again tonight.
Corporal car is coming.
Let's play it.
List. She's checking it twice. Gonna find a Planet 2 virus bomb tonight. Corporal car is
coming
tonight.
Oh, Lord. God, I'm so sorry.
Yeah, there is no way in hell this random motherfucker knows about all the major alien forces in the galaxy.
Okay.
Next time he's going to name drop the U-Bat. I'm going to cry.
Shoot. Oh god. Oh god, that was a burp. The Grenadier could almost laugh at how easily the Imperial Guard could wipe these creatures out. These people needed the guidance of an Imperial citizen. Who better than a child of Krieg?
Anyone else? As your society thinks?
You mean to say that you'd fight the creatures of Grimm? Ozpin asked, a small glimmer of hope for the boy hidden behind his calm voice. Nine. I mean to exterminate them like the filthy animals they are. That's quite the initiative you made for yourself, Mr. Hansel. I must warn you, however, many huntsmen have proclaimed that very sentiment, and they'd often die alone on their personal crusades. I do not fear death. I have fought alone against heretics that would have the ability to rip my soul out of my corpse to satisfy their wretched dark gods, an uncountable number of hostile xeno races. I highly doubt these Grimm can be as challenging. Yes, he also knows there's chaos gods, and we'll get into that later. In truth, Hansel was completely right. While the Grimm were a threat on Remnant, they were nothing compared to the alien races that existed in the galaxy, and even then the ruinous powers of chaos made those races pale in comparison. But this world had never seen the likes of any of the Xeno races and the utter destruction they can bring. Perhaps, maybe you would like some help in a base of operations. You wouldn't want your death to be unworthy of the Emperor, right? The headmaster asked with a slyly. Of
course,
What the fuck does that mean?
Of course, Ozpin is going to jump at the opportunity to get a new child soldier.
Ozpin's like, a new child soldier. Yes, it must be Christmas.
It's Christmas.
That's the only reason. That's the only reason he's doing this is because he wants more child soldiers.
I mean, that makes sense.
And this one has a working cock too. Maybe we can get more child soldiers.
We can breed them. A eugenics program begins.
I'll fucking no. Okay, never mind. Kitty's gonna breed Ruby. Fucking Corpor's gonna breed. Okay, let's keep going. The headmaster asked slyly, getting a raised brow from the Krieger and deadpan stares from his students. What exactly is your schola? Hansel asked, getting his chainsword aside. Setting his chainsword aside. My bad, that was mine. Leaning in closer to hear the headmaster better and root out any lies. Ozpin clasps his hands together in a steeple, resting his elbows on the bullhead's armrests. Beacon Academy is a school that trains the best huntsmen and huntresses to combat the Grimm and protect those who can't protect themselves. And you want me to participate in this schola? Yes. Not only will you be able to destroy the Grimm, but you'd also have a chance to learn about Remnant, like Dust, Aura, the Faunus. Zavat! Hansel interrupted, not really liking how Ozpin phrased the Faunus. It seemed like he was talking about another race other than human. Yes, the Faunus. They are a race of half-human, half-animals that have existed alongside humanity.
Beastman, what the fuck do you care?
Yeah. He pulled up a slideshow of animal-human hybrids on his scroll and showed it to Hansel, who was boiling in his mask. Mutants! He growled out, obviously not taking kindly to the idea of another race existing alongside humans.
Why does he care?
Bro,
They're Beastman! Who is that shit?
They're just fucking beastmen.
Well, to be fair, beastmen are like, they're on the knife's edge in terms of Imperial citizens.
No,
why does he care?
Yeah, they reckon that out.
Is he following the Imperial truth or whatever, where mankind is the... I don't fucking know.
No, how? Why would he? He goes by the cult of sacrifice, not the cult of truth.
I don't fucking know then. I was gonna say, because even with the cult of truth with the Emperor or whatever, the Emperor was still allowed, wasn't he willing to let Xenos live or whatever, as long as they didn't fuck with the Imperium of Man? Or like...
As long as they surrendered themselves to the Imperium, they were fine.
When you surrender to the Imperium and don't actively fuck them over, you're good.
I was gonna say, now, if this was his reaction after finding out shit like the White Fang or whatever, then this would kind of make sense, but... No.
Also, there is a joke that is a Kriegsman, because the custodian was the word they could have it, and the custodian said, we let the Emperor die. And the Kriegsman said, that's barely what we did. We jailed the Emperor! Or worse!
Anyway, yeah, obviously not taking kind of the idea of another race existing alongside humans. However, he was unaware of the sneer of a certain bow-wearing girl in black that was giving him, who fucking cares? Fuck you, Blake. No, Mr. Hansel. Fuck you, Blake. No, Mr. Hansel, they are not mutants. They are as natural as you or I, and we have coexisted for years. So you allow these abhumans to exist amongst you? Do you have any idea of what would happen if the Inquisition finds out that they are allowed to coexist here? Also, how does he know about the Inquisition? He wasn't.
Well, Inquisition is kind of more common knowledge.
Oh,
I suppose.
more common.
So
Okay.
he's a soldier, so he knows that the Inquisition exists.
Mhm.
That's about it.
He knows
Oh my
how
God.
to
They work, they don't know who they are.
Everybody shut the fuck up and let me finish this sentence. Thank you. So you allow these abhumans to exist amongst you? Do you have any idea of what would happen if the Inquisition found out that they are allowed to coexist here? He wasn't given an answer, so he continued. They would deem all life here heresy and call for the complete cleansing of all life on this planet.
No! Unironically, no! First, regarding the point about him knowing about the Inquisition, that's
I'm gonna
by
leave.
far the least terrible thing there, because it is relatively common knowledge that the Inquisition exists, and that Inquisitors go around doing shit, and that you don't want to piss off an Inquisitor, or draw their attention in any way, shape, or form, because that's just a good way to get yourself killed. In terms of the fucking abhumans, most Inquisitors don't care.
That's usually the ecclesiarchy.
Yeah, it's the fucking ecclesiarchy that'll go batshit insane and purge the abhumans, and even then,
Taking a piss, I'll keep listening to you. Keep going.
even then, the fucking ecclesiarchy will usually stay away from purging the ones that are
Just push them.
just push them out.
And beastmen are surprisingly sanctioned, quote unquote, to where they just can't purge them without good reason too.
The Inquisition have been trying to remove them out the sanctioned list for like 2,000 years now. They have still not managed to do it.
Because the Administratum gets too much money for it to be worthwhile. But like, there's no fucking.
Here's what I don't know if you caught it proper. You notice how he refers to school as scholar?
Fine, that's a common term now. Although I think this author maybe wanted to say the Schola Virginium, who is a special organization.
He is totally looking for the Schola Virginium because nobody actually refers to school as scholar.
Yeah. I don't fucking know.
The
Scholar
logo
is
is
high
shitty
Gothic.
school.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
I-
if
I seriously doubt this fucker is speaking High Gothic.
That's what I'm thinking, is that this guy is not talking High Gothic, so why the fuck would
Scholar.
he even... Scholar is High Gothic for school,
Mhm.
yep,
and it usually refers to the Schola Virginium,
Mm-hmm.
the most notable one.
which is the one
He-
where they train assassins.
Can I keep going though?
Yeah, sure.
Blah 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 blah. Ozpin frowned, giving Hansel a harsh look. I trust that you're not going to harm any of the faunus that attend my school or in the civilian populace. They themselves fight the Grim alongside us. So they're useful? Fine. It wouldn't be the first time I've had to work with abhumans, although the Ogrins are at least Imperial Guardsmen. This ordeal was not sitting well with Hansel. This was starting to be more trouble than it's worth. Very then. Excuse me, Ozpin, I think you mean very then.
Very then.
Very then. Very well then. I think that's what you're supposed to say.
No, it's just extraordinarily then.
Very.
Look, let's move quickly, okay?
Ozpin slides his finger around his scroll, occasionally taking it off to press something on the screen. Now, all I need is a picture of you without your mask on for a school ID. The Krieger didn't
Oh,
make a
no.
move. How about no? Yeah, be the normal Krieger's fucking.
How about now?
How about I shove
How
this
about
chainsaw up
no?
your ass?
How about
The
I
Krieg-
tell ya no?
The Krieger didn't make a move. He was probably the first Kriegan to get his photo taken without his mask on in millennia, as far as he knew. This was also the first time anybody outside of Krieg would see his face. Slowly, his hand went up to his helmet, fiddling around with the buckle for nearly a second. Removing his helmet, he capped it over his knee. Next, both of his hands went up to his beloved face given to him by a quartermaster. Taking the greatest amount of care, he pulled the visage of death and the mark of his homeworld off. Without his mask, the air no longer had that blessed recycled taste. Instead, he could smell and taste so many things. He didn't like it, except for that odd, sweet-smelling odor that was coming from next to him, from the red, black-haired girl.
Oh no,
Yeah,
he got the smell fetish.
I was gonna say,
Hell.
imagine your entire life smelling like nothing but recycled or whatever, and then fucking having someone, in this case Ruby, sit next to you that's wearing like strawberry perfume or something. You'd be like fucking gagging and vomiting.
Either that, he'd just be so fucking confused.
No,
Like, what the
all
fuck
he
is
can
this?
smell. All he can smell is the pussy. Come on, man.
Oh my God,
was going to,
Of caramelized.
that's
I
that
was going to say
he
that
didn't
the
like it, except
Kriegsman-
for that odd, sweet-smelling odor that was coming from next to him, from the red, black-haired girl.
The red and black hair.
Yep, she would be the kind of girl who'd spray perfume on her panties. So come on, we all know.
I'm just thinking, Kitty, remember how you talked about how humans use their, when they stay together, if they don't like the smell of somebody, it's usually a bad sign? That's what I'm thinking right now, is that that's what the author is doing. I was like, yes, he likes her smell, therefore must bang.
I
It
mean,
could
you're
be
not
that,
wrong,
or
Paul.
it could just be this guy's
He's-
is read it be referred to that way in other media, and he doesn't understand why, so he just uses the trope.
Or like I said, maybe she's just wearing strawberry perfume. I don't fucking know. I don't fucking know, nor do I care.
Know. Also, servitors take photos of Kriegsman all the fucking time in the
How
Navy.
do they? Oh, okay. Oh my. With the only intelligent
That's
words.
what Professor.
God damn it, let me read, you fucker. Oh my. We're the only
Oh.
intelligent.
Good.
Go on.
Okay.
We're all there.
Not allowed to go on.
Were the only intelligent words Ozpin could utter at that moment. The poor boy had 3 long claw-like scars that spanned from his right cheek to his nose. Gray hair with black spotches here and there was uniformly shortened to fit within his headgear. Dark circles hung underneath silver-colored eyes focused on what was ahead of him. Silver eyes! And of course, an emotion-devoid blankness stared. And of course, an emotion-devoid blankness stared without so much as a wrinkle in his face. Okay. It was like he had never smiled before. The small camera flashed. Most would have blinked, but Hansel didn't because he had seen flashes 100 times brighter explode right in his face. With the picture done and with the picture done and over with.
In other words, he was blind, but don't worry about it.
With I say it's a reaction for a reason. With the picture done and over with, Hansel began to re-equip himself of his beloved face gear. Why are you putting that back on?
Why are you putting that back on?
The red one asked, once again drawing his attention. A Krieger's mask is his face. Why did I sound Scottish there? He said it in total.
Kriegsman's mask is his face.
Is his face.
A Kriegsman's mask is his face, laddie.
I'm sorry, I just read that disgust. He said in a dull, toneless voice, Krieger's mask is his face, he said in a dull, toneless voice, before slipping his mask back on, relieved to feel the constricting yet loving tug the straps offered. Hansel may have been familiar with the emotions of others, let it alone himself, but he knew that his whole presence terrified and shocked these citizens of Remnant.
Not.
But in all honesty, they could have had worse arrived to their planet. Now that I have your file complete, all we have to get out of the way now is the initiation process. Seeing how you've came from an army that you've been in all your life, you don't need to do the same initiation the other students have gone through. Then what initiation will I complete, sir? Hansel asked. You will face off against a Beowulf Grim first, then a non-lethal sparring match with one of our best
a
non-lethal.
non-lethal
Little
sparring
nun.
match.
sparring. Oh god!
Unleash the nunchucks.
A
Sparing
sparing match with one of our best huntsmen in training.
A non-lethal.
Yeah.
It's a special kind of little that only nuns can do.
Of course, of course, after a night's rest, you look very tired. When was the last time you slept or ate? Last time I slept was 3 days ago. 1 week since I last ate. Also, no, I don't fucking care if you're a goddamn Kriegsmarine or whatever, because he doesn't have something that you need in order to function like that. If you haven't slept in 3 days,
you get neurological degradation at that point.
Yes, he wouldn't be able to fucking talk, let alone maybe even walk. He'd just be like falling asleep on the floor, unconscious.
Also, Kriegsman always eat at the same hour, unless something happens.
Yeah, I was gonna say also he ate a week ago or whatever, so not only would he be fucking unconscious on the ground, but considering all the activity they have him doing, he's probably not fat, so you'd also probably be starving at this point as well. Yeah, I was gonna say it doesn't take that long. It doesn't take that long to fucking eat a bar out of an MRE. Jesus Christ.
I was gonna say Kriegsmen all eat at the same time, they sleep at the same time, and they sleep in a pattern, like a consistent pattern. It's not like they're gonna go weeks without sleep. That's fucking ridiculous.
He isn't a fucking Astarte. Yeah, Jesus Christ.
Not survivalist, they're
Yeah.
each regiment.
Oh, excuse me. Even with that, Hansel could carry on for another 2 weeks until he started to falter and would be unable to complete his tasks and eventually die if he went unrested. So this motherfucker can go 3 weeks without sleeping or eating? Alright, sure.
I mean, biologically, eating, sure, but that wouldn't be good for you or fun or...
Dude, he would be like a skeleton on the ground, like, unable to move or do anything.
Emaciated.
What I could assume that they're doing is extreme rationing, to where when he says, "Have you been eating anything?" he's probably only had like small little morsels of nourishment to keep him going.
No, he
and
says
not
the last
actually
time
having
I
to sit
ate
down
was
and
1
eat.
week ago.
Silver said he had not eaten for a week. Nothing.
It's not he eats small portions every day. It's the last time he ate, as in anything, was 1 week ago.
Not talking about rationing have been extreme for a week. No, I had not eaten for a week.
Oh god. Sirius looking down further. Ozpin looked at the boy sympathetically. I'm sorry to hear that. He turned his head towards the girls. Team RWBY, can you please take Mr. Hansel to the dining hall? The members of the team in question looked ready to protest the headmaster's order, but the little red leader shot up with a salute.
You got it, Headmaster.
Oh no, Ruby, no. You could have escaped this terrible fan fiction if you just...
Kitty, oh yes. Thank you, Miss Rose. I believe our new student hasn't had a proper introduction yet. The smaller girl in red stood in front of the Kriegsman with her right hand extended.
Hey, I'm Ruby Rose.
Hansel removed his right glove and met her hand. He shook it, not noticing how sweaty her hand became and how she flashed red like her cape.
Right, my sister Yang is over there.
Hansel turned to see the blonde girl with the revealing attire giving him a wave and a bit of a warning glare.
Fuck you, Yang.
Fuck you, Yang. Suck my dick!
My partner, Weishni.
The girl in... Wait. Snow White? Why is her name Old Kriegan? A matter for later. White crossed her arms at her... White crossed her arms at him with an I'm better than you, so fuck off look.
Blake Belladonna, my sister's partner.
The black girl regarded him with a glare and a nod. Overall, the red girl, now dubbed Rosie Rose... Rosie Rose, the Riveter. Ruby Rose was the liveliest person Hansel met in his life. It was a little bit refreshing to the Kriegsman. Why would it be refreshing? Now that your introductions are out of the way, you are now dismissed and free to go about your day, Ozpin stated with a small smile dawning his face.
Let's go! Come on, Hansel, you must be starving!
Surprisingly, the girl had enough strength to pull Hansel from his seat and led him toward the door. She must drink her milk regularly.
Really?
Lead as in the metal.
Oh yeah, lead. As in she fucking led him to the middle door.
She leaded him as in she just grabbed a bar of lead, just smashed it into his face. Why?
I'm going to say no. What he did is to melt a bunch of lead and then pouring around in a line into the cafeteria.
Do you want to go one more? Because I think Cap wants to read.
Yeah, sure, we can do one.
Cap!
I think he fell asleep.
Nope, I'm here.
You can read chapter 4.
The castle lacked in Gothic architecture, and anything that resembled it being an actual fortress and not just a scola. In fact, that made Hansel speculate that there might be defenses hidden underground. It wouldn't be the first time he's seen entire structures hide defenses that could make an hour-long siege last years. Kriegan propaganda films would often show very informative documentaries of Death Corps' campaigns. Specifically, the Siege of Rax Prime.
No.
Motherfucker, there was stuff there that would get you shot if you watched it.
There's stuff there that would get
That-
you
that
shot if
and
you
that-
heard about it.
The entire war got retconned out of history.
There's a
Yeah.
reason.
The Imperium, it never happened.
According to the Imperium, in the official records, Rax was a fucking conspiracy theory by the cultists. It never
How to
happened.
charge over the lines. How high your bayonet should be raised. How to properly burn a heretic using a hairspray can with a lighter. And many more were covered in those films.
Well, the last one is canon. In Amberlin Bale comments about his Promethean children's book about one character born in heretics. How lively it was.
Hansel always loved watching them. He also loved reading Kriegan history, idolizing Colonel Yurton over the incredibly hard decision he had to make. He could only pray to be half the loyal guardsman he was. Ruby, yes, that was her name. Ruby had eventually let go of Hansel's hand along the way, noticing that he was able to keep up and didn't need to be dragged around like a doll. He still had the chainsword handy, leaning it against his shoulder like a rifle marching, as per regular Krieg guardsmen tend to do.
What about your fucking long last? I thought that was also on your fucking back. Or
He's just
leaning
got like
against
two.
it.
He just got like both hands, and they're just resting the rifles in parade rest on both shoulders. So I was thinking, since you didn't have a locker yet, if you'd like to put your weapons in mine. Oh yeah, he's going to be putting his weapons in your
Oh
locker, bitch.
no, he's gonna get those weapons inside of her shit.
Pressing her forefingers together while giving the guardsman a nervous smile. He's a fucking Kriegsman. He doesn't smile. What the fuck kind of heresy is this?
No,
That's
she's
Ruby.
The one smiling.
Oh,
He's
okay.
giving the guardsman a nervous smile.
He tapped his fingers against the chainsword's handle as if he was weighing the decision. All right. But realize theft of Imperial Guard property is still punishable by death. So
Why
give
do
it
you
back
have
and
that
don't
in
trust
accent?
it when we should have any
It's
problems.
fine, it's fine, just give him Russian.
It's fine.
He's Russian. He's Russian. He's from the motherland. He's of destroying my blood.
Cap, I love your accent, keep going with it, buddy.
He's destroying.
Keep-
To Hansel, the storms were very generous. Very few people would ever got the
This party
Kriegsman's permission to
started.
touch his weaponry. To them, however, it was seen as a threat that didn't bode well with the bronze brawler. How about you watch your threats to my sister, bub?
That's
Oh
Yang,
god, I
you
went to
fucking
Yang.
idiot. I said do Hansel's dialogue in Russian, you fucking...
Not everyone.
Not everyone.
How about you watch your threats to my sister, bub?
that's
However,
fine.
Yang made two errors with her threat. One, Kriegers cannot be intimidated. Two, they very much dislike being touched by someone that tries to threaten them, which is why she was on her knees, because Hansel had her wrist at a breaking point. She really shouldn't have poked at Kriegsman's mask. Ow, 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 ow! Don't you ever, and I mean ever, touch my face without my permission. Are we not at an understanding? Domkov! Hansel asked, leaning forward, trying to make his point clear with Yang. Yes, let's go! She yelped with desperation. Hansel let her wrist go casually, as if he wasn't about to straighten up, make her hand useless, God damn it.
Fucking Christ.
Hansel let her wrist go casually, as if he wasn't about to straight up make her hand useless a second ago. A fact Yang was still reeling from, silently cursing as she rubbed her wrist vigorously. Asshole! She cursed underneath her breath, glaring holes around the trench coat wearing bastard. Yang, don't taunt him like that, Ruby chastised, waving her finger at her older sister with a disapproving look. Are you kidding, Ruby? He threatened you some 3 times already, nearly decapitated you, and on the top of that, he's a freaking psycho. She growled, pointing at Hansel's back as he was currently admiring or criticizing the statue in the main courtyard, because it lacked any references to the God Emperor. Ruby looked Yang directly in her lilac eyes. Did you forget everything he told us on the bullhead? Yang blinked, not expecting the serious tone in her little sister's voice. He had nobody growing up. Not only that, he was told at a young age all he was good for was fighting and dying. So of course he's going to be difficult for a while. Just give him a chance. Please. It was an incredible thing to see Ruby act so grown up. Very rarely has Yang ever seen her this serious, so it must be a worthy cause. Alright, just be careful around him, or I'll pummel him if he hurts you. She made her point with a smile and punching her fist into her open palm. Oh, that would be funny if she just activates her shotgun and blows her fucking hand off.
I promise, Yang, his dick is worth it.
Didn't you see that chain sword? You know what they say about men with big swords. Ruby smiled, pulling her sis into a hug. Thanks, sis. She turned around to find Hansel waiting by the statue patiently. The statue... let's see. This is in fucking... Okay, that fucking thing right there got me...
Thoughts, yeah.
Yeah. This statue is lacking horribly in design. This planet must have been separated from the Imperium for at least 10 millennia for Gothic art style to be this butchered. Hansel thought, stroking the tube that connected to his mask. It wasn't uncommon to find Imperial worlds that lost contact with the Imperium since the Horus Heresy, but it was still highly troubling to find unfaithful humans.
You know about the
how the
Horus
fuck
Heresy.
does he know the Horus Heresy?
Yeah. The thing is, that Horus is not even recognized as a Horus Heresy, like the dude or something. He's literally fucking seen as Satan. And he's
He's just
usually,
Satan.
his name is a swear now. His name is also a swear. Like, instead of saying,
Yeah.
oh, son of a bitch, you just say, oh, son of a horse.
Of course.
He's literally the illustrator and fucking Satan.
Hey, Hansel! He turned around to find Ruby skipping towards him. Come on, let's put your weapons away and get something to eat. The Kriegsman followed after her silently, not minding the other 3 girls that trailed behind, still disapproving of him and his attitude. Ruby's locker on the outside was just like any other, but on the inside it had several photos of her and the friends she's made. Oh, you haven't been properly introduced to the Team Juniper yet. They were the other 4 first years you met in the forest with us. Hansel stared at the locker's wall of pictures. He recognized the people, but didn't really care for their names. But for the short amount of time he's known Ruby, it was only a matter of time before she told him. But we'll see them at lunch anyway, so hurry up. Heeding her instructions, he put the following into the locker. 3 frag grenades, 2 photon flash grenades, that's Tau technology by the way, 2 smoke grenades, a bolt pistol with its ammunition, something he wouldn't be given to unless he was an officer, a chain sword, that he also
He will give
basically stole from a dead fucking heretic, an M39 trench shovel, he'd have that on him at all times, mono knife, steel legion dagger, a gift from a friend. Kriegsmen don't have friends, nor do they accept gifts.
Yeah. And he's not
And finally, his Krieg-issued backpack, excluding the uplifting primer, of course. Oh god, he mentioned the primer.
Oh, what? This guy-
Meme.
Yeah, this clearly just a fucking Dark Heresy character. I bet that fucking steel knife. Yeah, that was just a co-player that gave him that knife.
It makes sense too.
The team
Considering,
took-
I was gonna say it makes sense too. Loud. The more I think about this, considering later on 4 of not his buddies or whatever, but 4 like Imperial Guardsmen show up and they're all like from different planets and they're all diverse or whatever, and it looks exactly like a Dark Heresy lineup for a party or whatever.
It's just the
It's like you got the fucking the Varukian or whatever his face is, drunk or whatever, who's like the brawler. You got the fucking Teleran, the desert sand dude guy or whatever, who's the raider. You got the fucking goddamn tank commander dude, and then you got a fucking tech priest. It's like it's just a fucking Dark Heresy lineup.
This is just some faggot ass heresy game turned into Ruby fan fiction.
The team took notice of the black book, and it's also not a black book, it's orange, with the 2-headed eagle on it. What's that? Blake asked, interested in the type of reading material someone from space would read. It is the Imperial Infantryman's Uplifting Primer, one of the newer editions I managed to get. It tells a guardsman everything he needs to know about life in the Imperial Guard. This includes regimental regulations, regulations on sanitation of equipment, prayers and litanies, and the descriptions of the falls of mankind. Hansel said, flipping past the first few pages showing them to Team RWBY. It does, but it's generally a very fucking heavy piss take, caricatures. It's not really too fucking like reality.
One of them describes Jurgen.
Why not keep it in the locker? Weiss asked. Being without the primer is a serious offense. 100 lashes is the most lenient punishment, and death by burning is the most severe. Okay, let's get going, RWBY suggested with a deadpan. Wow, that's a serious punishment for not having a rule book. Lunchroom.
Okay. ... Give me a second. Okay. So, Lali, what were you going to say?
I was going to say... Excuse me?
What shooting weapons?
Oh yeah, right. So the primer is a giant piss take that one of the chapters describes the Elder Shuriken cannons, which goes straight through normal armor, even Space Marine armor, as being primitive weapons equivalent to what would be the 40k version of dart guns that pale in comparison to the glorious armor of the Imperial Guardsmen of the Flag Vest.
Yeah, it's literally just propaganda that has no bearing on reality. Only some parts of it could be considered
for maybe, like,
useful,
regulations
and
shit,
the rest
obviously.
Yeah,
and the only other thing too is that people,
wounds and all that kind of crap.
most of the guardsmen that don't get regularly inspected, they sometimes just use pages of it from wiping their asses.
Technically, only one page of the book had to be clean and presentable at all times, and it's marked.
Yeah.
Is that the one on the God Emperor?
Yeah. No, there is this one page, like page 5, it said, says, as a guardsman, you must keep this page perfect every time. Your commissar maybe ask you to present this page at any moment during regulation. It's about the only one.
Mm-hmm.
A little page, you can use it for free toilet paper if you want.
The lunchroom.
Also, remember the litany of stealth that wasn't part of the book?
Alright!
The lunchroom surprisingly like the mess halls on Krieg, except there was actual food, and there wasn't any dim lighting. Everyone had a different personality. Okay, so it was nothing like a Krieg mess hall.
Yeah.
But the food really was something. RWBY told her team to go and find their regular table and find an extra seat for Hansel because she decided that he was sitting with them and Juniper. Pick whatever you want, Hansel. It's all pretty good, RWBY chimed with a tray of her own in her hand, piling up on sweets in an entree. Hansel was a bit nervous with his choice. He had no fracking clue what any of this would taste like. Perhaps you could recommend something. I'm rather unfamiliar with this food. A bright smile crossed her face. No problem, Hansel. In no time at all, he had a tray of food. Fewer sweets than RWBY with the exception of a chocolate bar. Kriegers would charge a bloodthirster demon with a spoon if it meant getting a chocolate ration. A commissar would be rather disturbed when they had returned tattered and beaten. A commissar would be rather disturbed when they were returned tattered and beaten but carrying a demon head, expecting a chocolate ration. That's not how demons work. Once you kill them, after their bodies disappear.
Don't let that stop them, though.
The table that they arrived at already had Juniper waiting for their food. Some of them were eating while others were whispering around each other, sneaking looks at him and RWBY every couple of seconds, but stopped dead and act like their food was far more interesting. Hi guys, RWBY said enthusiastically. Allow me to introduce you to my friend Hansel, our new classmate. The reaction wasn't exactly a warm one. John had just barely avoided choking on his sandwich. Pyrrha gave a nervous, friendly smile, and Nora was hiding behind Ren, who also had visual discomfort on his usually stoic face. New classmate. RWBY said one again, this time weaker. Come on, guys, she yelled. Welcome to Beacon. Pyrrha.
It's like, come on, guys!
Welcome to Beacon. Welcome to Beacon, Pyrrha said awkwardly, not getting any response from Hansel. He blankly stared at Jean Juniper and turned his head to RWBY, cocked to the side. Oh, right, he doesn't know your names yet. I'm Pyrrha Nikos. John Ark. I'm going to rape you soon. Ore wa lai ren. I know it's Japanese and Chinese, but fuck you. Nora! The orange-haired girl shouts gleefully, jumping up with her fists in the air, annoying Hansel slightly. Hansel regarded them with a nod. He honestly didn't care about their names. He didn't really care about Team RWBY's names either, but they were, of course, assigned to him to guide him through the Scala. Removing his helmet once more, he sat it on his knee and began removing his gas mask, drawing curious glances from Team Juniper. Those curious glances turned to disturbed and concerned stares. Hansel, what happened to your face? John asked a bit inconsiderately, earning him an elbow from both Pyrrha and Ruby. I was in a fist fight with a mutant in a trench. Said mutant received a snapped neck and impalement on a palisade for his troubles. Hansel answered, not taking his eyes off the strange food before him. There were so many colors on the plate, differing greatly from the usual gray-colored food. Oh god, he gets this fucking equivalent of army rations. It also tasted marginally better. He was also starving, so even oatmeal would have tasted 1,000 times better. The only reason why he wasn't scarfing it down is that he was a disciplined Kriegsguardman. Enjoying the food?
You will be scarfing it down, because that's how Kriegsmen eat. Eat as fast as possible.
As fast as possible, yeah.
Enjoying the food? Ruby asked between mouthfuls of her own food, swallowing hard every time she was done with some. Hansel nodded. Significantly better than the rations given to my regiment. Speaking of your regiment, how many men are in it? Ren asked, taking a small sip of his tea from his mug.
He wouldn't know that.
He'd be like,
The 263rd,
You'd be asking what the fuck a regiment is.
The 263rd Siege Regiment would have 2 to 4,800,000 men at a time, depending on how lengthy and brutal the siege is and whomever we're fighting. Who do you usually fight? Nora asked, leaning over the table at Ansel with a childish curiosity.
Oh god, here it comes.
Any of the unfortunately many races of Xenos. Orcs, Eldar, Dark Eldar, Tower Empire, world-eating Tyranids, Necrons, and any other filthy heathen species. He growled out of his expression, turning hateful at every name he listed off. But none of them can compare to the ruinous powers of Chaos or their dark gods. I personally hate them more than any of the other Xenos combined.
You just listed off every Xeno fucking species in the fucking 40k.
Only
every major species.
Okay.
The ruinous what?
How the flying fuck does this random motherfucking guardsman know the difference between the Eldar and the Dark Eldar?
That's a plot point in almost every book that includes them. Is that you can't see the fucking difference when they're shooting the shit out of you.
Fucking Necrons, which are fucking rare as balls.
Oh, absolutely.
Oh, in a straight-up fight, when the Necrons wake up from a tomb world, it's generally, they just annihilate the entire planet. There's literally nothing left except Necrons. So, survivors are extremely rare to actually tell people about Necrons.
Yeah, so how the hell would he know about Necrons? Certainly hasn't fought
Well, he
them.
fought one in person, of course, and ripped his head off and keeps the trophy inside
Also,
that stupid-ass trophy room.
Okay, it is the saving grace. It's not the Necrons, it's Nercons, so...
What?
It's not Necrons.
Oh god, you're right, it's the Nercons, I forgot. The Nercons.
We're talking about somebody else, let's go.
We're talking about somebody else, guys, it's fine.
Not Necrons, they're Necrons.
They're Nercons, it's fine, it's fine.
A discussion for another time. Chaos should not be discussed at the time of eating, unless it bitters your food.
You
The two huntsmen and training teams have a perplexed and semi-terrified looks towards the Krieg soldier, but he seemed to be done with talking with them. After eating, the teams showed up on the insides of the campus, the library, infirmary, and even had a few classrooms before it was time for them to turn in for the night. Ruby's skull rang out, drawing Hansel's curiosity as to why data pads were issued out to non-Mechanicus adepts. Oh yeah, they weren't part of the Imperium of Man. Ms. Rose? Is Mr. Hansel still in your party? A voice came from Professor Goodwich.
Your quartermaster have a fucking data slate!
Yeah,
Holy shit!
For most people, they don't really get them. But considering the fact that he's in the Death Corps of Krieg, and they have a lot of fucking, they're basically like in Administratum Light, with how much they have to keep stock of everything, a lot of them have fucking data slates just for that purpose of keeping stock.
Most people don't have data slates, but basically everyone knows what a data slate is. It's like knowing what an iPad is versus having having one.
Mm-hmm.
that cryptic.
Also, iPads are
What is it?
shit. Anyway, keep going.
Hansel
Fine,
moved his
Windows
hand over the
tablets.
screen so that she could see him. I see, Mr. Hansel. I would escort you to the guest rooms for tonight. Tomorrow, after your initiation, you will be assigned to a pre-existing team for the remainder of your time at Beacon Academy.
That's a real
Wow,
smart
that's
idea
so
there, Oz.
cool. I wonder what team you'll be part of. How do you feel about that, Hansel? Ruby asked, jumping up and down like a monkey on a
I
sugar
want to
high.
die.
I don't.
Hansel stared blankly at her and crossed his arms. I don't like it, because I'm the only one here who will die fighting instead of retreating. From what you've shown me about your society, all of you do is retreat.
Once
The
again, he
words
ain't wrong.
Hansel spoke stung the group fiercely. He had just basically called them cowards. Not just them, but all 4 kingdoms. Weiss sneered and pointed her finger at him. Who do you think you are? How dare you say that about us? He walked up to Weiss's face, staring her coldly in the eyes. I am a servant of mankind. I have lived only to serve mankind. I and everyone from my world has had their humanity stripped from them for mankind. I am a weapon for mankind. Nothing more.
No.
The Emperor, you motherfucker. They betrayed the Emperor. That's why they have a cult of sacrifice for the Emperor. Ah! I will go into it after the end of this chapter. Go on.
Yeah.
Hansel said nothing more as he walked away from Weiss. She herself couldn't find anything to say. Either it was like she was being talked down by a killing machine. She wasn't actually too far from the truth on that one. But Hansel had grown tired of these people. That and he was actually really tired, and the only real rest he had is when he was knocked out after being blown from a warp gate. So of course he was going to be a great cranky and storm off. Now that's just General Kriegsman.
That's just being
Hansel, wait
saddled
up!
with living in fucking Remnant.
Hansel, wait up! Ruby called, but her efforts were in vain, trying to get an angry Kriegsman attention was a futile, if not suicidal effort. Forgot the S there, fucko.
No, it's really
Forget about
not.
him, Ruby. Forget about him, Ruby. He obviously doesn't like us, John said, staring at the fleeting form of the skull mask boy very angrily. Ruby nodded her head to the sides. I know that he may look like that, but if you'd taken time to consider maybe seeing having a bit of a culture shock? Team Juniper gave Ruby confused looks. He just came here for fighting a war. He's from a culture that's all about war, and on the top of that, he was raised to be disciplined and cold. People around him never cared about him. He's gonna have some issues, guys. I already asked my sister, but now I'm asking all of you to give him a chance. Yang smiled, throwing her arm around Ruby's shoulders. Oh, look at my little sister all grown up. Fighting against Grim, leading her own team and defending a boy she thinks is cute. Ruby visually bristled and elbowed Yang in her ribs. Shut up, Yang. I'm not defending him. Weiss tried covering her
Yang,
mouth as
shut
she
up.
chuckled. Weiss tried covering her mouth as she chuckled. Yes, you are, Ruby. You've been defending him all day. Blake even decided to chime in. We all saw how you get nervous when he shook your hand, and how you dragged him around the school. Oh, and you picked out his food like a... Oh, and you picked out his food like a cute little couple. Yang sing-songed through Ruby's red as rose cheeks. Ruby smacked Yang's hand away and crossed her arms in a pout. He didn't know what food to pick. Don't you think you're being into the moody trench coat wearing, I'm a warrior of mankind type of bad boy? Yang said, laughing off her sister's little hands punching her arm. Back with Hansel... ... The professor was waiting patiently for him as she had a scowl on her face. Where is Team Ruby? I thought they were escorting you. I left them to get faster. Get here faster, Professor. It is no cause for a disciplinary action. If anything, I should be punished for abandoning them. It says, it is no cause for disciplinary action. If anything, I should be punished for abandoning them. Why is he contradicting himself?
He meant to say shouldn't.
No. If there's going to be punishment, it should be for him. That's what he's saying.
Alright.
Okay.
That's a weird way of phrasing it.
Yes.
Goodwitch's scowl lightened up just slightly. That's very noble of you to cover for them, Mr. Hansel. Let's not waste any more time, as it's late enough as it is. She pulled out a small data pad, pressing a few numbers on the screen, and the door opened up. This will be your dormitory for tonight. Tomorrow night you'll be sharing one with 3 other students for the next 4 years. Hansel nearly scoffed at that. He had little faith that he would live to see the next 4 years, but it was the fact that he didn't need to bring up. Thank you, Miss Goodwitch. I appreciate the room. Good night, Hansel. Before she left, Goodwitch peeked her head around the doorway to see Hansel kneeled by the bed pulling up a small black book. His head was bowed with his fingers in a steeple. A closer look and she saw that he was praying in front of the picture of a golden figure in a suit of armor. Poor boy, she thought, seeing the rows of soldiers marching in front of the figure. Ruby, why are you giving our Kriegsman special attention?
Don't you
There you go.
fucking...
Sometimes I forget that the uplifting Primus infantryman has a illustration of the Emperor.
So, how'd you guys enjoy that one? That was my first time actually reading.
Oh,
Painful.
I thought your fucking Russian accent was funny.
You do not mock Russians. Russians will mock you. And we mock you by hitting you upside the head with a crowbar.
Alright, Gordon Freeman.
Christine,
Adamkia, suka bled.
they are soldiers of the fucking Emperor. They're gonna give a shit about if you're human or not, because you're...
It literally does not matter to them.
I was gonna say he rightly hates on the Faunus, but he shouldn't hate on the Faunus. Until he learns out the White Fang, and then he would rightly hate on the Faunus.
Oh, yeah. So this is a human organization that apparently all fucking support is a terrorist organization against humanity and its rightful place in the galaxy.